You know, I keep forgetting that this stupid music gets copyright claimed, even though it's supposed to be DMCA free. I need to figure out a better situation for intro music. I know that DB Wild has been a absolute boss and helped me out with some like AI stuff, but just something that's not going to make me have to go through and fix the copyright claims and all that crap because I'm getting so irritated with that shit, guys. Anyways, happy Friday. Hopefully, you guys had a good week. If you're on the East Coast, I know the weather's getting kind of crazy over there. In fact, my mom was actually just visiting my brother in Carolina, and she left 2 days early to not have to get stuck there in the snow. So, hopefully, you guys are safe over there. Most we've got over here is just like some, I don't know, some cold weather. I'm not here. All right, Patriot, I'm glad you're not here. I feel like my camera got zoomed in more. Maybe it's just me, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what the deal is with Kick Chat, though. Over on Kick, I see somebody commented in the stream, but I can't respond on Streamlabs. So that means I'll have to have another chat box open, which I'm out of room on my computer. I don't have any more room in my monitors for another chat box. Yeah, no, unfortunately, though, it seems like some people are going to get hit pretty hard with this freaking storm that's coming. I don't know. We don't ever have that bad. Like, the worst we have is some occasional rain and wind and that kind of crap. So nothing too terrible. It's Washington. It's gray. It's cloudy. Texas is looking like Greenland right now. Is it really that bad? Is it echoey? Probably not the right mic. Hang on. Let me check. This should fix it.
Yeah, I don't know why Streamlabs keeps doing this. I don't know why Streamlabs keeps defaulting to the webcam microphone. I've even gone through the process of, in my computer settings, disabling the audio on that webcam. So it shouldn't even be a thing. Like, I shouldn't even be fighting with this stupid thing, but apparently it's always going to be a thing. I don't know why. Let me double check sound settings. Because, yeah, the computer has the default sound setting for my microphone here. But Streamlabs, I swear to God. You would think as much as Streamlabs tries to screw me over, I would have switched to, like, OBS or something by now. Streamlabs is just too convenient. I've got all my shit on here, you know? Anyways, Vernum, good to see you, buddy. Hopefully you are well. I know it's probably bright ass crack a morning where you are. Hell, it's probably not even 6 o'clock there. I don't know how you do it. I got up this morning at like 7:30. Had to take a shower before I went up to get my mom at the airport. And I was like, nah, I'm wrecked. I'm tired. Was behind a bit, but it's fine now. Okay, good. Yeah, it's a stupid setting on Streamlabs, man. It's every freaking time, dude. What is Vernum? Isn't that a game? I honestly don't know, man. I just know him as Vernum, and I'm cool with it. I'm actually a bit pissed. Oh no, what are you pissed about? The fact that you're up? I mean, you can't blame me. If something that I did woke you up, I mean, that's just telepathy, man. I have no control over it. Oh, Discord hit you with the age verification shit. On which Discord? On ours? Because I know you're in there. You don't comment very much, but I'm pretty sure you're in there, man. So, was it something you said on our Discord? That's crazy. He's a minor, apparently. I don't even be making those jokes, okay? I don't want anybody on my Discord channel who's not a legal adult. And we don't even post anything like sus on my Discord channel. Like, I'm strict on the whole nothing that crosses into those boundaries, you know? No idea where I got it. I made the account like 15 years ago. How old were you 15 years ago, though? Dude, I didn't realize Discord has been around for that long. I've only been using Discord for about the last 6 years, I think. When I first started streaming on Twitch, I didn't even have one. Oh, they want me to dox myself to access NSFW channels, even though I'm not in the UK or Australia. Dude, I can't even. That's some crazy shit, man. The world is going crazy. Like, all this stuff. I mean, didn't the European Union or something put out that new social media app that's like going to be their version of Twitter/X? Can't believe Starfield's over 2 years old. Dude, I know. Yo, Quillpig, I am alive. Oh, man, my YouTube account 15 years ago, not Discord. I'm like, dude, I didn't think Discord was around 15 years ago. Wait, hang on a second. So, but it's Discord asking you to dox yourself. Interesting. I mean, to be fair, I've given my information to whatever spy service runs Twitter for like their monetization program, even though I haven't gotten money from Twitter in like 2 months. The Twitter account is paid for itself. That I haven't made money on Twitter. I've had a month where I'll get like, you know, $40 or whatever, and that covers like half the Twitter membership or whatever. They can't claim it's a child's. Okay, they can't claim that it's a prepubescent child, but it could be a non-legal adult. So technically you are sort of correct, but that's going into some gray area that I don't even want to touch. Like that's nasty. That's disgusting. All right. So while we wait for some more people to pile in here, I actually haven't watched. I have not watched the Fable Xbox reveal that they did. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull this up, and I have no idea what I'm getting into. I do know some of the information about the Fable game, the character creator situation, all that kind of stuff. So we'll go over some of that in a minute. But in the meantime, I am going to switch over to this screen here. Oh, I'm hiding my webcam, apparently. Where the hell am I? There we are. All right. His pick could have a very gray area, proving his age. Oh, my God. Anyways. Like I said, I just don't want to touch that one. Speaking of which. That's what she said. Hey, Sammy Stone has followed. I assume that is over on Kick, and unfortunately, it's a bot. Good stuff, Sammy Stone. I don't got time for your bullshit. If I had my Kick chat open, I would just ban him right now, but whatever. All right, so for anybody who's not aware, hang on. This is the Fable gameplay overview from the Xbox Developer Direct from, I believe this was 2 days ago, was it? Oh, just yesterday, I guess. All right, must have been on Thursday then. I have not watched this yet, so I'm very curious what there is here.
Hi, welcome to Playground Games, where I'm thrilled to share our very first deep dive into a game we've been making here for a really, really long time.
I mean, I will say they started off without any pronouns. That's kind of a positive. Point out all the woke. Oh, I've already seen some shit. We'll talk about that. Problem is that his spam is now on stream. Oh well, it's only on stream on Kick.
Fable.
Oh, you mean over the, yeah, under my little webcam box? Yeah.
Playground Games is renowned for fun, immersive, and visually stunning open-world experiences. Since 2010, we've been developing the Forza Horizon series right here in Royal Leamington Spa, a charming little town in...
Okay, I mean, I know that I'm not the biggest racing fan when it comes to like racing games. I don't play a whole lot of them. Is Forza Horizon anybody's favorite like game? To be honest, I feel like the Forza Horizon games are just kind of eh. They look cool, but I don't know.
The middle of England. As Horizon has grown, so have we. Over the past few years, we've built a new team to carry that reputation into a new genre that we are incredibly passionate about. Fable is Playground's first open-world action RPG.
Oh, great.
And we couldn't be more proud to be carrying on the work of the legendary Lionhead Studios, the original creators of the franchise. And although our game is a new beginning, I think what we're making is really faithful to the spirit of the classic Lionhead trilogy that we all love.
Based on what I already know about the game, he's full of shit right there, but we'll just let them continue. Nothing else for casual racing. I guess you're right there.
At the heart of our game is a simple, recurring question. What does it mean to you to be a hero? Our game is about choices and their consequences. It's packed with action, drama, British humour, moral dilemmas, and quite a few chickens. All of this combines in a fairy tale which could only be Fable.
No, we just got started watching this Fable from the Xbox Direct yesterday.
In classic Fable fashion, you begin the game as a child, growing up in the sleepy rural village of Briar Hill.
Oh, did you, Mr. Hardcore Mode? Awesome.
It's here that in a moment of extreme danger,
we get a chance, we'll check it out.
Your heroic powers first emerge, and we discover that
Not
you
too much,
are
Luigi. I'm
Albion's
just getting
first
caught
hero
up on this
in a
Xbox
generation.
Direct video.
But Not long afterwards, disaster strikes, and the people of your village, including your beloved grandma, are turned to stone by a mysterious stranger. Suddenly alone in the world, you'll set off on an adventure which will change Albion forever.
Venturing out into the world is a huge moment because this is Albion like you've never seen it before.
Isn't
Idyllic
she
rolling
trans,
hills.
the main character in Fable now?
Magical forests,
This is the
bustling
developer's
villages.
direct from yesterday, yeah.
sleepy hamlets,
I didn't watch it at all.
oversized vegetable
Stream lag
patches,
already?
and stunning
Anybody
vistas.
else?
And because our Albion is truly open world, for the first time, you'll be able to explore this rich and detailed world seamlessly, with the freedom to go where you want from early in the game.
We can't wait to welcome you back to Albion's iconic capital city, Bowerstone. Home to Fairfax Castle,
All right, thanks,
the old
Petra.
clock tower, and the legendary Heroes Guild.
It's a huge city, full of contrasts. Rich and poor, nobles and commoners, royalty and criminals. You'll spend plenty of time here during the game, as you discover the secrets of the Heroes Guild and its reclusive guildmaster, Humphrey the Golden.
In the north of Albion, you'll find mountains, craggy coastlines, spooky marshes, and the bleak, windswept city of Bloodstone. Here, you'll meet the leaders of two rival
Green
gangs
Mandra.
vying for power and uncover the secrets of the sinister but extremely
I
well.
haven't seen that hair since like boy bands from the 90s. That's a choice. That is certainly a choice. My God, I used to have hair kind of like that. I did the frosted tips back when I was like a teenager.
Organized cult of shadows.
Back when I still had hair.
Our Albion is beautiful, handcrafted, and richly detailed.
In Albion, heroes
I
are
mean, they were
special,
cool at the time.
different.
That man gives me the creeps.
They're
It's
stronger than
something.
regular
It
people.
really is.
They're more skillful, more charismatic. More importantly, they're those rare humans who can harness and use magic in the world around them. They have the power to do what they
Never
want.
got into Fable.
And
I will
so
tell you
do-
what, Lugia, I played the first Fable game and I freaking loved it. And then I played the second Fable game and they added a lot of really cool features and I loved it too. But I never played through the second one more than once. I played through the first one, I think, twice. And freaking loved the game. I don't remember if I actually played the third one or not. Frosted Tips, they're great. I know that it's not really for everybody. Obviously, you can't make a game for everyone. A game for everyone's a game for no one. But I really enjoyed the first two, for sure. I just don't remember if I actually played the third one or not. It's been so long since I actually invested any thought process into Fable. I hate the fact that levels were tied to age. I forgot about that. Dude, okay, so everyone was making a big deal about the fact that there was like black characters or diverse characters in this game. I forgot that Whisper and Thunder were characters in the original game. I'm like, oh my God, I had to dig way back to even remember that. You can't hear me when the video's playing? Well, I typically turn the video down, but the last stream people were saying the video was too quiet, so that's why I have it turned up a little bit. But, yeah, but again, with the types of games that are out there, to each their own. Everyone's going to enjoy different things, for sure.
You. In our game, we want you to play as the hero you want to be. And that starts with being able to choose how your hero character looks.
So, in Fable, you'll be able to pick from a range of different character heads and customize your clothing, hair, skin tone, tattoos, and
All right, so they say a range of different character heads, and they show you literally two heads. The less than appealing female chick that we've already seen 1,000 times, and some strange looking dude here. Like literally like Gen Z AAA slop right here, this guy. You know, here's the thing. Games like Arc Raiders, it works to not have a fully in-depth custom character creator. I'm fine with that. I don't spend more than 10 minutes on my character anyways in most games. What I don't love is calling it a character creator when you truly don't have any creative freedom with how your character looks, other than change a few tattoos, throw on different clothing, and that's it, you know? Pre-made characters, and that's, yes, it's just pre-made characters, type A and type B. It's a good question. I actually haven't seen what they're designating them. I don't know if it's type A and type B or not. Oh, Crimson Desert looks great. I just won't have time to play it. Too massive. There are black characters. Problem is the amount of diverse characters. Right. So it's not that there are characters who aren't white. from what I've seen, they make it look like freaking London, like modern day London, you know? Fugly female or a soy boy, gotcha. Yeah, pretty much.
And customize your clothing,
Type C.
hair, skin tone, tattoos, and scars. So the hero you play represents you.
So you have this one here. Kind of generic, normal-looking, swashbuckling white hero kind of guy. I don't hate this character model. This character model looks fine to me. Actually, I think this is cool. There's a lot of things that they've changed, though. We'll get into those in a minute.
Well as your appearance, you can be the hero you want to be through the way you play, through the skills and abilities you learn, and through the weapons you use.
Just like the classic trilogy,
That's Leon.
heroes in our game fight with a combination of strength, skill, and will. Seamlessly blending melee and ranged weapons with magical abilities.
Yeah, generic. Generic's
gives us
okay.
style-weaving combat.
But not to, like, jump the gun and jump ahead, like, you know, spoilers or whatever, because everyone else has already covered all this stuff. The issue I have is if you're starting off generic and then they don't allow you to physically change your appearance based on moral choices. Like, there's this whole thing about subjective morality that we're going to get into, where they've basically gotten rid of the morality having any effect on your physical appearance, which is kind of like the hallmark of Fable games, is that no matter what your character starts off looking like, no matter what tattoos they have or, you know, whatever, they become either extremely like demonic looking with horns and an aura about them and flies or whatnot, or if again you're a good character, you've got a halo and this bright, you know, holy appearance, right? And I get it's a satire, but that was kind of the iconic part of Fable. It kind of made it what it was.
Allowing you to show off your personal playstyle against single opponents and large groups of enemies alike. Melee is at the heart of our close quarters combat. You'll use light and heavy combos, often knocking enemies off balance and executing stylish finishers.
Combat looks okay. It looks kind of bland, but whatever. No, I'm probably not going to touch Crimson Desert. Too big, too long. I don't have the time to play it, I don't think.
Swap to your ranged weapon to bypass enemy guard and deal with troublesome flying enemies.
In the future, what I got to do is, hey, Korean Cowboy, after I start the stream, I need to do the unplug and replug a back end thing. That's typically what happens. I could use this microphone all day long and not have a problem. It's once I start the stream is what happens. No. So to answer your question, Avernum, they're not going to use that as a tool to customize the character's appearance due to moral choices, because they are removing the morality having any effect on your physical appearance entirely. Yes, they've always been a little cartoonish. Not like an animated film, like a hand-drawn film, but kind of goofy looking. Like all the characters, if you go back to the original Fable, most of the characters' hands and feet look a little comical, like a little oversized.
Of course, you'll be able to unleash your powerful spells to both manipulate and devastate your opponents.
Hey, Equilibrium.
We're excited to be bringing back some fan-favorite adversaries for you to fight. Hobbs are back, as are Balverines, Hollowfolk, and Trolls.
And we're adding brand new enemies too, like this fearsome cockatrice, a giant fire-breathing chicken. Each enemy family is different, with their own weaknesses to explore.
Weirdest fantasy creature ever, I tell you. It's a AAA studio under Microshaft, not a small indie, exactly. Yeah. No, they have the money for it.
And defenses to overcome. But with all the unique tools in your combat toolbox,
So
how you
last
defeat
video,
your enemies
before layoff?
is up to you.
Yeah, micro slot.
But there's more to being a hero in Albion than fighting, so much more. When we talk to people about their favorite memories of the original games, so many of their stories were about the stuff you can do when you weren't just being a hero. The normal, everyday stuff which happened when you interacted with the people of Albion.
For me, what I remember most vividly are the inhabitants of Albion and the things you can do with them or to them.
The crazy thing about the classic Fable games was that in the middle of a sprawling RPG was almost a complete other game where you could just mess around with the villages and townsfolk.
It's true, although, like I said, I've told this story before, my brother wanted to see if he could marry a guy, and he found the one guy in one of the towns that he could, and then he married the guy and beat him until the guy divorced him, so... Well, see, Patriot, I'm not worried about women being there. I'm worried about a certain type of woman being there, you know? That was actually good combat-wise, immune to arrows if in armor. Yeah. They can only play Candy Crush. Well, unfortunately, a lot of that times that's true.
And we've built that same experience in the middle of our game, too. Buying a house, getting a job, making some money.
Oh, okay. A little bit of Kingdom Come Blacksmithing
Romancing
there.
a villager, getting married, having kids.
Fancy a date?
Perfect. You can get to know me better.
Buying another house. Buying every house in
Experimenting in
Albion.
game, pretty much.
Buying every business in Albion. Getting rich.
Marrying a bunch more people, having a bunch more kids, probably getting divorced along the way for good measure.
Hang on a second. Is this a daycare? Or did this random... kind of like, I don't know what color skin. He's got that default, like, mixed skin look going on. So he's got this one little girl who looks like him.
Marrying a bunch more people.
White girl running through the house.
Having
a very dark skin, almost like Indian looking chick over here. This has got to be like a daycare, or maybe they have friends over or something. Because there's no way this one dude had this many different looking kids.
A bunch more kids.
He reported
probably
to HR,
getting divorced along the way for good measure.
And this
The
game
Lyric
within the
Center.
game is unique to Fable. It's systemic, interconnected,
Oh my
and you see
God.
the ripple effects of the things you do everywhere you go.
Quality, yeah, the Albion Quality Lyric Center, exactly, yes.
And all of this revolves around the people who live in Albion, who we call the living population. There are more than 1,000 of them, and every single one is unique.
Okay, holy crap. Okay, so we have a video, a little clip that's on Twitter, Learning the Law shared it, about the walking motion of this character. That's why $1 million donation want. Yeah. Anytime you speak to an NPC, you'll see the woke. Well, dude, Equilibrium, this man is sashaying. This is like he just got done cleaning the lube out of his butthole, okay?
Who we call the living population. There are more than 1,000 of them, and every single one is unique. Each of them has a name, a role, a daily routine, and their own personality. You could follow any one of them for a day and just watch them live their life.
I don't want to follow him for a day. Like, holy crap. NPC cannot handle CPU load. Okay, maybe they have a Type 1 and Type 2 body and then a Type 1 and Type 2 pre-made headset. And so the green-clothed woman was manlier than the dude. At least she's got a sizable rack on her. And the dialogue will be good? Maybe. Stalker Simulator. No worries, Cool Pig. Have a good night, buddy. Stay safe. Video game or metaverse? I don't know. I have no idea.
Each of them has a name, a role, a
Oh,
daily
you're right.
routine,
She walks
and
like
their own
this, like
personality. You could
standard
follow
NPC
any one
walk.
of them for a day and just watch them live their life.
Wow.
They'll get up, go to work, spend some leisure time on hobbies, then go home to bed.
But what's even
Also,
cooler
women
is
don't
that
wear
you can
dresses.
talk to every
Well, that
single
woman
one
there
of
was
them.
in a dress.
And talk to every...
Home to bed.
See, this chick here is in a dress. But no, you're right. A lot of the NPCs, it's like...
But what's even cooler is that you can
Where's
talk
Op
to
AI? I don't
every
know what
single
that
one
is.
of them in fully voiced conversations and interact with them in loads of different ways. Maybe the job they go to is working for you because you hired them to work in one of your businesses.
Minus 8.
Hey, you. Working hard? How can I help you, boss?
Maybe the bed they sleep in is in a house
Catwoman.
you own
Yeah.
because
Woman
you're
walk
the
like
landlord.
Batman.
Or maybe their bed is on the street. because you evicted them.
All right?
Oh, it's you. You're awful.
And all of the stuff you do affects what they think of you.
Am I crazy, or did the mouths... I know the mouths didn't move in the first Fable game. That game's pretty old. Did they not move in Fable 2 and 3 as well?
You're awful.
The dude's face,
And
his
all
mouth
of the
is not
stuff
moving
you
when he
do
talks.
affects
It's like
what
the
they think of you.
jaw's moving, but the mouth isn't open.
Because everything you do builds
like
your
Asmongold.
reputation.
Very impressive. Now that's an hero right there.
Morality has always been super important to Fable. That tension between good
All right, Mahendra, sorry, buddy. I'm trying to do two things at once here. Let me see here. Every character, when you speak to them, is a they, them.
and evil underpinned all of the original games. And morality is central to our game too. But we have a slightly different take on it.
Oh, let's hear it.
For us, morality isn't black and white. There are lots of grey areas. And importantly, morality is subjective.
Oh my god. Okay, so yeah, that would have me worried. A game that is always hyper-focused on the concept of morality affecting your physical appearance based on every choice you make along the way. You have a little morality meter about how evil and how good you are. And it's like every decision you make in the game and with which quest you go on and how you resolve that quest, everything has an effect on your appearance. I want justice for Coop. Yeah. Morality is subjective. Call PETA. Oh my god, yeah, Lugia, that's like taking a massive dump, even if it's nothing. Okay, let's just say that has no effect on the story of the game. Let's say that has no effect on the actual storytelling of the game itself. You are talking about saying that one of the fundamental core aspects of the original 3 games isn't that important because morality is more subjective anyways. We won't judge you, but here's a meter that says what people think of you. Dude. Oh my god.
No two people see things exactly the same way. And that's how it works in our game too.
No. That's not how it works. There are many things that are objectively not legal because in society we say this is immoral, it infringes on somebody else's rights. People have these natural rights that are given to them by God and by the government, and you cannot infringe on those things. And if you take those things away, that is evil, that is wrong, that is a crime. There are things that are objective that we can all agree on: murder, theft, rape, all these horrible, awful things people can do, genociding somebody, like a whole race of people. These are not gray areas, okay? Dude, I swear to God.
Everything you do earns you a reputation.
You're right when you're the bad guy.
And every person in Albion will have a different reaction to you as a result.
Hello there.
Mr. Hardcore Mode, exactly. Because some people thought Charlie Kirk was the devil, it therefore justifies... No, go beyond that. Think beyond, bigger than Charlie Kirk. And not bigger because the guy had a bigger impact, but the moral backflips people will do to get to this point. Think about the guy that killed the CEO of the health insurance company. People justified it. Not like, well, Charlie Kirk, he shouldn't have died, but he's a piece of crap, so I don't care. People said, Luigi taking out the CEO of the healthcare company was morally justifiable, that it was good, okay, that the guy deserved it. So, you can say, well, people are going to have different opinions on morality. Sure. But unfortunately, or say fortunately, we all have objective things that no matter what your opinion is, you can't change the way society is going to say, no, you might think that this is okay, but it's still a crime. It's still wrong. You shouldn't do it, right? Interest in this game is minor. Gene, honestly, I wasn't, or Jean, I'm not sure how you pronounce your name. I'm not sure that I had much interest in it more than the meme quality out of it. I loved the first few Fable games. I kind of outgrew them. I don't really know that I'd go back and play them again at this point. But they were great in their time. They were great for what they were. My taste in games has changed over the years. I don't know that I'd go back and play them at this point, even to like the anniversary edition. But this is like, holy crap. Jean, okay, I can do that. Do not do unto others what you would not want others to do unto you. It's pretty simple, right? That's, yeah. Holy crap.
Yeah, we get it. You're rich.
They'll remember things you did directly to them. They'll love you or hate you for the choices you make. And they will always tell you why. Although, usually from a safe distance.
Our game will never judge you, but the people of Albion will, loudly.
Yeah, you know, Mahendra, that's very much it. Because a lot of people, and rightfully so, I hate corporations. I hate the way that the corporate class kind of abuses the system and gets away with it, and everyone else is left to, you know, squander. And it sucks, right? The entire thing sucks. It's not the way capitalism was meant to work. It's corporatism, not capitalism. But I'm not going to be going out there justifying murdering people in the streets because I don't like their policies or because they make more money than me or because I think they're greedy or whatever. It's like, dude, NPCs aged over 40s. Are all the NPCs old? Are there no kid NPCs running around? I can't remember, guys. In the original Fable games, when there were kids in the villages, could you actually do like Anakin Skywalker and kill a whole bunch of kids? Because I'm trying to remember if they were even beyond your own children that you can have in the game if they were children. No, there were children in the villages. Yeah, there were kids in the game. Could you actually kill them? Because again, not morally subjective. Killing kids, objectively bad. Right? I mean, not a hot take. The kids weren't killable? Okay.
Imbecile.
Maybe they thought that went too far.
Your reputation is created by the choices you make. And you are going to make a lot of them. Big choices, little choices, moral choices.
I mean, that hair was certainly a choice.
Some choices that will actually change the landscape of Albion for the rest of your game.
The kids were immune?
We call this idea, your choices change the world. Let's give you an example.
Early in the game, you'll meet a character named Dave, an egotistical gardener in a rural village who discovers...
Kids are invincible in most games. That's pretty much the case most of the time. Hey, McKinney. Yeah, and you know, that's not something that I've got a problem with. I don't seek out, you know, games where I can go and do the most horrible, heinous shit possible. But if somebody in a game that has, you know, optional choices, like, again, wiping out a whole village full of people, if the kids were involved, I wouldn't care. It's like they're not real kids, right? Someone's going to make a mod killing younglings? Exactly, yeah. Order 66 or whatever it was. In one of the games, there was an orphanage for kids whose parents you'd killed. Oof. Oh my god. Used to play Fable games because the British humor, but humor is illegal now in the UK. Exactly.
There's a magical growth formula. He accidentally turns himself into a giant and becomes a big problem. It'll be your job to deal with him and ultimately will be...
I don't have what people have started to label woke derangement syndrome, where people see woke in everything. I've done my fair share of criticizing woke crap in games, and I can see it pretty quickly and sniff it out. What the hell is this? Like, what the hell is this? Oh my god. This is like if Reddit had a baby and put it into a video game. I don't even... Imagine kids in video games get annoying. Again, I'm not calling for the need to murder kids in games. He's an IT guy. Is that so? Looks like the character from the new Saints Row game. God. I'm waiting for him to say, actually.
It's a big problem. It'll be your job to deal with him, and ultimately will be your choice whether to kill him or to spare him. If you kill him, his giant corpse will lie on the farmland just outside of town for the rest of the game.
And that is going to affect house prices. It will also affect what a lot of the villagers think about you.
Especially Dave's sister. In Fable.
He's from a show called The IT Crowd, and what, they just stuck him into a video game? It's official, this game's gonna suck. You know, the game might satisfy some people's desires and stuff, and you know, the game might be playable, and there'll be, again, I wanted to be careful making predictions, because again, just like Assassin's Creed Shadows, I said, you might not like the game, I might think the game looks like ass, it'll probably do okay. Same with, again, Ghost of Yotei and a lot of other games. Same with Marathon. I think Marathon will probably do pretty decent numbers. I don't know that Marathon will hit the projections they wanted, and it certainly won't bypass Arc Raiders. There's not a chance in hell. Will Fable do okay? I mean, it's going to be on Game Pass. So, theoretically speaking, it's an Xbox exclusive. It'll be fine, you know. Been dropping number 3s all day, but I'm here to support. Dropping number 3s. What the hell does that mean? I'm a little lost on that one, Cage, but I appreciate it, man. Do you mean like 3-pointers playing basketball? I don't play basketball, just so we're clear. Yep, they just stuck him in the game like the guy. Have no problem with him being in the game. I have a problem with him wearing glasses, not period appropriate. You know, and there are people arguing, hey, you know what? The game's got fantasy elements and technology and magic. Why can't it just have a guy with glasses? And it's like, well, in that case, why don't we just stick a 1994 Honda Civic in there? Or you know, some shit like that. Find people with a high political tolerance? Possibly. That's it. I thought dropping number 3 is like diarrhea, isn't it? Because that'd be like an extra large number 2. I don't know. Even if the game succeeds or flops, Microsoft will fire all the employees anyways, pretty much. If a number 1 is coming out of your number 2 hole. Oh, gotcha. Okay. You're shitting piss. Got it. Okay. Disgusting, but vivid. Very descriptive. They just said he became a giant from a potion or something. Wire's glass is gigantic too. Well, Wire is clothes gigantic. That goes back to the whole when the hulks out, why is it that his underwear is the only thing that doesn't rip? We're not going for like accuracy here, you know? That wing would be too scary.
The choices you make will define you.
Oh my God.
What does being a hero mean to you?
At Playground Games, we've built a pedigree for beautiful,
Dysentery,
immersive,
rough.
open-world experiences. Yes, they've typically involved sports cars, but this is a passion project for all of us here. Every member of this team, which we've built from scratch, has 2 key things in common: a deep love for the franchise and a burning desire to bring it back. We're making this for Fable fans just like us, but also to introduce Fable to gamers who've never played the series before. It's been great to finally tell you a little about the game we're making. There'll be much more to share as we get closer to our launch. I'm excited to tell you today that Fable is coming to Xbox, PC, and PlayStation in autumn 2026.
So not an exclusive. Okay. So despite being a hang on a second. Does Microsoft own this studio? Because I guarantee you Fable's going to be a Game Pass day 1 release, I would imagine. But doesn't Microsoft own the studio making Fable? Or at least the rights to Fable? We're making it for the fans. But no, see, they're not making it for the fans. They're making it to try to gain a new audience. They say they're making it for the original fans and for a new audience to introduce it to them. No, that's exactly what, again, like Star Wars, the sequels did, right? Oh, well, we're making something called Star Wars, hoping the old fans come back. But yeah, it's an Xbox game, right? So it'll run like crap on UE5. Guys, I'm putting the blame on devs from now on. I know UE5 has a lot of technical issues a lot of people have experienced. We all have playing UE5 games. It honestly sounds like a lot of times, based off the few games I've played, that it runs well on. I think it's a developer problem. By the way, they closed Lionhead Studios and then gave Playground to develop Fable in year and rehire most of the Lionhead. Wait, they rehired the Lionhead devs after closing the studio? So why did they close? I can't even make sense out of this shit. But they pretty much stopped making exclusives when they announced the Halo for PlayStation. Yeah, Wukong was on UE5 and ran. Yeah, Wukong ran great. The whole showcase runs less than 30 frames per second. Interesting. So that's that. That's the video. That's the developer showcase that I didn't see the other day. And again, like I said, learning the law, pointing out this very feminine walking motion here. I mean, yeah, the woman here clomp, 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 clomp as she's walking by, but this dude's sashaying all over the place. Watched a YouTube video that pointed it out, and I realized every game that runs like crap on my PC is a UE5 game. Everything else runs great. No. So Patriot, there is problems. There are problems with UE5 because the developers don't know what they're doing. That's what I'm saying. It's one of those situations of two things being true. Yes, UE5 is harder to work with, but the developers who know how to work with it can do some incredible things. Because Microsoft is retarded. Hey, Burner. They use the old walk cycle. Playware Games is owned by Microsmall. You mean Microslop. Oh, it's sash. Dude, if I've ever seen a man sashay, that is the definition of sashaying. Okay. So Revenant here on Twitter says, this confirms that the game was always intended to have one default protagonist, the female character they originally continued to show off and on, or show off. The character selection was done last minute after the backlash, probably why the game went radio silent for so long until the showcase. I don't know. Does it seem likely that after the backlash for the character being kind of a frightening looking woman, that they decided to swap in a couple male character options for, again, remember, Fable 3, you could pick a male or female character. That was about the extent of the character creation, right? Other than like tattoos and hairstyles and stuff, you know, you couldn't pick anything beyond male and female. There was not a whole lot of customization there in Fable 3. But when it comes to this, like, do you think that they swapped this out? I don't know.
It is like this tangible thing that you can point to and say, hey man,
I need to update my alerts, by the way.
This many dollars worth.
The Xbox developer direct what's not good. Fable and Forza was a snooze. The pot game was an interesting concept. The Game Freak game, I have mixed feelings. I am not going to support Pokemon devs.
Yeah, if I had more time, I was going to bring up the Game Freak game. It actually looks interesting. It's called, like, it's Reincarnation or something. But it's amazing what you can see with, you know, the Pokemon devs not being restricted to just making a Pokemon game. And thanks for the 10, Lugia. Appreciate you, buddy. Yeah, from what I've heard, the Xbox, like, all the reveals from the Direct were not great. Obviously, Fable was the biggest one they had to talk about because this is the game that's had the most conversations going on around it, for better or for worse. So, Kay, do you think it was the backlash that changed it? Fable 1 and 2, you were only male? Right. So it was Fable 3. They gave you the option to be male or female. That was it. That was the extent of it. Most of the NPCs were white. Well, again, different times, guys. We're living in different times. You think they totally added that last minute, Remy? I mean, it's possible. It is possible. The question is, this game comes out in August or fall, they said. I'm assuming August, right? Autumn, I think they said. Did they really have time between the last trailer, which I'm assuming came out late 2024, early 2025, or maybe it was summer 2025, and now to swap out, create new, character models? Obviously, they have the same walk. These dudes are walking like chicks. It's not like they tried to create an entirely different move set for a character, right? Actually looks like a good game. We're talking about the Game Freak one. I saw like a 7-second snippet of it. It's, Japanese characters and monsters. It's Horizon. Horizon is huge. What are we talking about? Now you got me mixed up, Equilibrium. I don't know what we're talking about now. I thought you were talking about the one from Game Freak. Kilted Cajun said, and they added the marriage and the kids after the backlash as well, pointing out that, again, you would have had marriage and kids as an option. I don't think that really makes that much of a difference, because in the game, you typically could marry male or female characters, and they were always going to be offspring as part of it. So I don't think that really makes that much of a point. Oh, God, here you go from the Bugle Daily. Fables create a character mode. I swear to God. The memes of Bella Ramsey over the last 2 or 3 years have been some of the best, most enjoyable moments of humor that I have ever had. This is like, mwah, this is perfect. It'll make a difference if your income gets drained based on how many kids you have. Yeah, you're not wrong there. Not wrong there. That child support do be a bitch. Yeah, the Game Freak game does look, it looks interesting from what I've seen. Again, I didn't see enough of it to really make a determination on that. New Horizon 6 looks good. I've been waiting for a Forza game in Japan for years. Oh, they're setting it in Japan. Oh, dude. Oh, man. Okay, So a Forza Horizon in Japan, that could be pretty incredible, especially like fall. All right, so I'm not a big racing fan. Like when it comes to racing games, I've played them. It's not my cup of tea. But in Japan, that could actually be pretty solid. Abysmal Critic says it's not a character creator. They're letting us select from a range of heads. To be clear, it is more customization than the real Fable games, but it's also not you getting to create a character. You get to customize your hero to some small extent. And honestly, the fact that your appearance won't change with your actions, that's one of Fable's core features, and they can't do that with their subjective morality. And subjective morality, really, so that tells me you're not going to be able to create the most evil, eats live baby clicks, would stab his own mother hero ever. Baby chicks, I think he means to say. From the gameplay overview, the reasons I love Fable have either been deranged or entirely removed. Say what you want about the amount of stuff promised to us by Lionhead and Pierre Molyneux specifically that we didn't get, but at least we got the full spectrum of good to evil. I think that's pretty accurate. We got something that maybe didn't impact the world as much as it was hyped, but it did impact the character. Sure, you can stalk all 1,000 NPCs and learn their daily routine. I won't say that attention to detail isn't impressive. There are a lot of neat little things that they did that sound cool. And as much as I would love a game like Fable again, until the fact that there is objective good and objective evil that exists, until the players are again allowed to actually go down both ends of the spectrum, it's not going to be possible to recreate. If it was a Fable-like and wasn't trying to actually be Fable, I could probably give it more wiggle room. But if you want to be Fable, then you have to go full Monty, no half measures, and this just does not look like it did that. I think that's a very reasonable take. Of course, Steam moderators removing people calling the NPCs ugly, because why wouldn't they be doing that? That's Steam. That's just what they always do, right? Horizon is huge, like 20 million players. I know that Horizon is a live action Fable actress confirmed. I know that the Horizon games are a massive franchise. I just look at it from my own personal bias of I don't find racing games that interesting. Yeah, I guess if I was playing with people online competitively head to head, that would make more sense. But it's just not something I really get much into. But going back to what we were talking about previously about the morality not affecting your appearance, from Rock, Paper, Shotgun, Fable's evil landlords won't grow devil horns as reboot ditches classic character morphing due to a lack of belief in objective arseholery. So yeah, just like we watched in the video, just like we were seeing now, it is confirmed that you will have no physical changes, no morphing at all that will have any impact on how your character is seen, perceived. There will be interactions that people remember you, but essentially what this sounds like is if you walk into a town to people that you've never interacted with, you could be the most evil scumbag on the planet, but because you've never met them, they don't treat you any differently. That flies in the face of the entire concept of the way Fable worked, because Fable, because the drastic results from your moral choices in the game, it had a massive impact on how you were perceived, no matter where you went. Not evil, just misunderstood. Imagine following in Molyneux's footsteps and implementing less mechanics than him. I didn't even know at the time that there was a big controversy about that. I didn't realize that people hated him so much. I didn't even know that he was the one at the time that made the games. I was just doing my thing, playing Fable, When you use magic, you'd get older. Yes, I remember that. When you would use physical strength, you'd get buffer. When you were an archer, you'd get leaner. Yeah, this is bad. It was the core part. That's what I'm saying. This was truly the core essence of how you played the game. You went from town to town, and if you were the most evil son of a bitch that ever existed, people could see it on your character. Like, there was no questioning it, right? Christina Tasty says there's some fucky going on. There's been multiple hostile reactions to anyone criticizing Fable's direction away from what the originals used to do. I mean, people fighting tooth and nail saying Fable never had a binary good and evil system. Yeah, bullshit. I may be old, but I'm not that old. I can remember it pretty clearly at this point. Absolutely crazy. I made a post about Fable introducing character creation. People think that putting a hat on someone makes a different person with how the old games worked. Nure saying they have a subjective moral system. Some actions are not subjective, actually. Fable literally gave you horns for killing villagers, sacrificing people, extorting townsfolk. Some actions are just evil. Yeah, I think that pretty much is, hits the nail on the head right there. Oh my god, you can't have an evil hero because the player character can be black now and it's not politically correct. Oh my god. They're avoiding the morphing because this character isn't meant to be a character. This character is meant to be you, and if you don't have a 100% static way to choose your look, you're evil. But no, but Patriot, there's no character customization, so it's not really you. Again, the 3 characters, the 3 heads that they showed us, none of those look like me. None of those I see myself in. Not that I play games to see myself. I don't give 2 shits about that. I never make characters look like myself. So I'm sure you guys all remember this person, Unifade Walker over here on Twitter, Eddie. Eddie, this woman who thinks she's a dude. She was the biggest Veilguard shill that ever existed. I'm sure you guys remember, she was the one that was taking pictures with what's-his-face, the trans dude that was the creative director for Veilguard. The soy face selfies, it was really cringe. She put this on here saying, my wife is a diehard Fable fan and I'm not, for no other reason than I just haven't played the games. So I asked them, now again, wife. Woman asks her wife, so you're lesbians, okay. So I asked them, not her, what they thought about this choice, and their response was, oh, thank fuck, I hated that system so much. I think fans will be just fine. Korean Bush, yes. Isn't his name Andrew? Oh yeah, we all know Eddie, don't we? Oh, Nure had the best back and forth with Eddie. I tell you what, those two, they were fighting like freaking... wife is probably a dude. I mean, you'd think that they both switched. I mean, Eddie thinks she's a guy. So, can you not tell if she has a... you know, that's a good question. It's a great question. Yeah, of course, the Marshmallow Cultist loves the idea of removing the morality system. Exactly. So again, these are the people telling you it's no big deal. It's no big deal. Of course, Abysmal Critic quote tweeted her and said, hey, my wife hated it, so obviously all fans will be fine. No, we're not, and just because your wife hated it doesn't mean the rest of us did. Sorry, I'm getting the Guinness burps. I am effing sick of it, that it didn't matter to me or my random friend over there, so your disappointment's irrelevant bullshit. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, straight with extra steps. Wasn't she the one who went crazy for the bulge slider? Yes. If you remember those really cringe TikTok videos of this chick that looked butch, but she's a woman. She thinks she's a guy named Eddie, but she's a woman with like the really short shaved hair, talking about the inclusivity. I don't know if she's Scottish or English or whatever. How wonderful it is that we have the vitiligo and these trans surgery scars and all this stuff. And I'm like, this is just, yeah, it was the most cringe shit that I've seen in a long time. She was the one like going absolutely nuts over it. But here's the best part, guys. They didn't even show the best part in that video. Okay. Yeah. Heavily retarded. Fable. Now here's the thing, guys. I didn't realize that Leon over at Words Paradise hated The Office so much. The Office that is literally like, this is me, okay? This is me in a nutshell.
Wait, back up. Do you think that I'm retarded?
Okay. I love the first 5 seasons of The Office. I've watched those 5 seasons more than any other show. Maybe Frasier and MASH going back to like my childhood. But like, I love The Office. However... Fable will have The Office-style cutaways in the full game. Okay? I have not watched this. This is like 60 seconds long. Let's see what this actually means.
Fable is trying out something never before seen in a AAA game. Mockumentary-style interviews.
I'm here to conquer the vegetable, not a euphemism.
It was used in one of the first Fable trailers, and fans thought the scenes were made just for the trailer. But it turns out these Office-style cutaways are in the full game. In case you didn't know, Fable is very British, and the new game is very much inspired by comedies from the UK, even bringing in actors like Richard Ayoade from the IT Crowd and Matt King from Peep Show, with more British actors yet to be revealed. But they're also mimicking the style of interview scenes popularized by The Office. Playground Games chief Ralph Fulton said, quote, "It allows you a way to really neatly tell a joke or drop a little bit of character detail in a way that would feel really clunky in a dialogue, but suddenly feels entirely natural when you do it to camera." So yeah, Fable is not your typical fantasy RPG. In fact, the devs are describing it as more of a fairy tale game. Whimsical, fun, and funny. We'll see this fall if they can pull it all off. Are you excited to see more from Fable?
So it's like people that grew up in high school back when I was a kid doing the Into the Woods satire parody play all got together and did a reskinning of the Fable game. That's what this shit is. Millennial humor. Yeah, you know, I love The Office, but I do apologize that it's having this effect on other stuff. You know, modern leftist UK. It's impossible to include everything, so you'll be a requirement. You have to exclude things. When you say inclusivity, it means excluding Western Christian values. Right. Yeah. Dude, I got no words at this point. I have no words for that. That is beyond retarded. So we're not doing a Fable game. We're doing more of a spin-off on a generic fantasy game. So don't call it Fable. Fable needs Amelia. You're not wrong there. The Office was good. It was its own thing. It's just plagiarizing it. Yeah. And I understand that it's not for everybody. But, like, seeing them try to pull off the same kind of humor in this setting, and then it's like, how retarded can you be? Like, holy crap. All right, let's switch over to talk about Ubisoft, something we can all celebrate. Yeah, they should just call it something different. I hear my dog pacing out there, but he's probably not even going to come in here. Let me see if he wants to come in. Hang on. It's not even millennial humor. It's the kind of humor that we millennials found cringe and roughed up the kid who kept telling them, and now they're in charge of our games. Yeah, us millennials get a bad rap. No lie there. I guess he decided to go lay down in the other room. It's the humor of the losers. Yes, exactly. All right, so here's something we can all celebrate. So Ubisoft has had a rough go of it for a while. Despite their claims of having quadruple A games. There's the puppy. All right, hang on. Hey, puppy dog. Oh. Quit staring. I know those N64 controllers are sexy. They're very sexy. Okay, stop. I thought I was 6'7". Yes, you smell beer, dog. You can't have any. You can't have any beer. So despite the fact that, you know, Ubisoft has all been up in their own ass talking about how great they are and how much their games are revolutionizing everything, and they're the first quadruple A video game studio, and that everything's going to be games as a service, and everything is going to be a spin-off, and this and that. They've had a rough go of it for the last couple of years, which is beautiful to see. Yes, dog. Puppy dog. Stop trying to lick my ears. He smells the Guinness, and the dog doesn't normally smell alcohol because I don't drink much. But he's in a trance. I don't know. Yeah, a rough go of it. He'd say, a rough. I know he needs a hair trim. He can barely see. His eyebrows are getting in front of his freaking eyeballs. Your mustache is up in your face. Get this thing. His beard is now longer than mine is. For a while, we were beard twins because I had the white hair going here and he's got the little white patch underneath, but not anymore. Ubisoft was filled to the brim with morons. No surprise there. Yeah. So things are kind of hitting the fan for Ubisoft. It's pretty glorious to see. Oh my God. No. My video clips are trying to play on their own. You have a beer for him? There you go, Cage. Former Assassin's Creed franchise boss sues Ubisoft for nearly $1 million, alleging constructive dismissal. This is Mark Alexis Cote. Now, the funny thing about Mark Alexis Cote is he was actually the one in an interview that revealed the information that most AAA games, if they don't sell 10 million units, don't even make any money, which is crazy. He left just 7 months after the release of Assassin's Creed Shadows, one of the most successful games in the series. Dude, that is such bullshit. It says he stood up for the game as public figures like Elon Musk derided it, and the day after Ubisoft announces his exit from the company, he said it wasn't his choice, and now he's suing. He said he was offered a role at the nascent Vantage Studios, but it didn't carry the same scope, mandate, or continuity with the work that I'd been entrusted with in the recent years. It was evident back then that he was not enthusiastic about leaving. As he said, I came to see myself as the captain of the ship. Someone who leaves only once every soul on board is safe, and that is exactly what I've done for as long as I could. Yeah, it's not surprising at all with the stock budget, for real. Or with the stock, prices and stuff. They'll put on a shock collar. No, he's got this really, really effeminate crocheted thing that one of my nieces made at some point. We just put it on him because it looked cute. So I don't even think we put a collar on him 90% of the time. I just let him out in the yard and he goes poop and does his thing. Yeah, spend $100+ million on a game and expect to sell infinite amounts of it. No, Mark Alexis Cote is the guy in the interview last year and a half ago. I think it was with if you're gonna chew your ass, you gotta get out of here, dog. Seriously, I don't listen to that. He was the one that revealed that if you don't sell 10 million units of your AAA game, you're not going to be end up making any money. So they got this going on. Then, of course, a couple days ago, they announced that with all these layoffs and everything else, they are canceling the Prince of Persia remake. Thank God, because the Prince of Persia, well, I'm going to say the original trilogy, I wasn't the biggest fan of the third game. Like, it was good. It was weird. It was different. Had some really good parts of it. But Warrior Within, in fact, it might actually be my limit. I've got a rotating bunch of pictures from my background, my desktop. Let me see. Nope, we got Dark Souls 3 going on right here. Warrior Within is one of the greatest games of like the GameCube generation. Oh, freaking the soundtrack, the combat, the acrobatics, the environment, all of it. I mean, Prince of Persia was great. It was a classic. But Prince of Persia was like PG-13, and Warrior Within like kicked it up to rated R, which was great. Are you ready to get out? All right. See you, bye. Like, yeah, I'm going to chew my ass out here. So, yeah, I'm actually really happy that they didn't get to remake this game. And then, of course, they canceled 6 other games. They allegedly still have like 5 or 6 other things in the works. And, of course, they're still trying to push this whole games as a service thing, which is like going to be a complete disaster. And now we're seeing that there's going to be another 2,000 plus layoffs. Absolutely bonkers. Made me a Godsmack fan. Avernum, same here. And then I kind of outgrew Godsmack. I'll still, like, once in a while, I'll throw one of their songs on if I'm, like, working out or whatever. Only played Sands of Time and Warrior Within. Dude, it peaked at Warrior Within. The third game was what? The something prince? I can't remember. Twin princes? Two princes? I can't remember what the name of it was. The Dahaka, the Masked Prince, the Empress, the first freaking boss on the boat. Yeah, dude, no, it was great. Fantastic game. Let's see here. I'm out, brother. Got to work the ice storm this weekend. Ooh-wee. You be careful, all right? Remember, it's retarded to choose third-person pronouns. None of us are a they. Exactly. Exactly. In fact, every time that someone says their pronouns, this is all you got to say, all right?
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
I think that's about as fitting as it gets. Two Thrones, thank you. I couldn't remember the name of that one. I don't know why. All right, so now we're looking at 2,000 plus more jobs that are going to be lost. So, is it nice to dance on people's graves and celebrate firings and all that? No, not really. Not really. And unfortunately, there are decent people in here that get swept up in the middle of this. And I've talked about this before. I've known a few developers who seem to be like genuinely decent people. And it sucks. But unfortunately, I can't remember who was talking about it. I think it was Legendary Drops on his stream earlier today. When you have a company this size that employs over 17,000 people. And I was thinking about this. Do you guys remember? Hey, Susano. You guys remember when Stuttering Craig on Twitter posted the Assassin's Creed Shadows credit scene and it was 90 minutes long? No worries, Susano. It's all good. 90 minutes of credits for Assassin's Creed Shadows, and people were pissed. They were screaming and yelling and ranting. Why do you care? You're such a loser? Why'd you take the time to upload 90 minutes worth of credits? You suck, go get a life, you incel, all this stuff, right? Jersey's expecting 11 to 18 inches. Oh my God, good luck. They have had 17,000 employees back in 2025. They need to cut 80%. Freaking Nintendo has like 5,000. Yeah, exactly. It's Tucker in the middle with you. No, Susano, you got it's close enough. Kind of inevitable. All AAA studios are publicly traded. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Once you go publicly traded and you have shareholders to appease, you are now beholden to the shareholders needing to make money. It just all goes together. If you don't make money, you don't put out a good product, the shareholders get pissed and people get fired. Yeah, and the wages are also increasing. Exactly. So, yes, the point that I was trying to make, though, is people were lashing out at Stuttering Craig for pointing out that Assassin's Creed Shadows credits were 90 minutes long, and they missed the entire point. Keep in mind, the prior split at Ubisoft was to avoid bankruptcy. That makes sense. Yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense. When you have credits for a video game that are 90 minutes long, because you have to include 5,000 people or however many people were in those credits, that is a problem. That is an issue. There are movies, like major $300 million, blockbuster films that don't have 90 minutes worth of credits. So again, this is just kind of like the essence of the problem going with companies like Ubisoft. The amount of employees they have and how many hands are in the middle of everything constantly back and forth across like multiple different nations, different studios in different countries all around the world. It's insane. It's such corporate bloat, it's not even funny. They already fleeced us every way they possibly can. I mean, that's AAA gaming. That's just AAA, you know. Craig and Dan remind me of each other, except I like Craig. Fair enough. Fair enough. I think I've got more hair than Craig still, if I let it grow out. He's probably got a few inches on me. I think he's more of a know-it-all, and I don't say that in a mean way, because he's been around the games media thing a lot longer than I have, so he's got a lot more insight, a lot more knowledge than I do. Some of these developers are going to fail up and work on bigger companies. You know they will. You know they will. Companies not set up correctly when they're even facing that in the first place. Like I said, yeah, they set themselves up for failure, no question there. And they use subcontractors a lot, which isn't accounted as employees, right? And that's just extra spending too. That was funny too, because Sandfall Interactive did that. Well, they were a studio of like 30 some odd people, and then they had a few hundred contractors or whatever. And everyone's like, see, they're not a studio of 30 developers. They had 100 people that helped them. Okay, sure. I get the point you're trying to make. But compare what Sandfall did with the core team of 30 people plus subcontractors and what Ubisoft does with 17,000 employees plus subcontractors. Like, these two things are not even similar. Not in any capacity whatsoever. So from Insider Gaming, it says yesterday's Ubisoft announcement of its massive restructuring has made headlines across the industry for canceling projects, closing down studios, and delaying projects. But one of the biggest announcements, for the most part, has been overlooked by many. It always is.
Do I need to be liked?
Smeg.
Absolutely not. I like to be liked. I enjoy being liked. I have to be liked.
Oh man, you hit Hook and McKinney. Oh, Hook, I wonder how that guy's doing. I need to message him on Discord. Smeg, thank you for the 5 gifted, buddy. Appreciate the hell out of you, man. Yeah, an Expedition 33 only cost $10 million to make. Yeah. We're doing something very specific, only there for what we're there for, but we do cost more power if you break it down. I think that's a fair way of looking at it with contractors. We don't waste time because we're not being paid by the hour. Yes. Thank you. That's exactly the prime point. Yeah, that's just a mother load of bloat. Yeah. Yeah, it is funny. Once you put people on an hourly basis and they know that they have job security, at least the illusion of job security, and they have that cushy environment where basically they're just going to milk the clock as much as they can, you will see a lot of wasted money. You put somebody on salary or somebody who's on a fixed contract and you tell them you have to get this much work done regardless of what you get paid, they will get it done as quickly as possible. Now, quick doesn't always equal like quality, obviously. There's a lot of people who work fast and the work is really shitty, but at least you will see productivity, the speed at which they're working, increase. Says, I'm of course talking about the human impact of the recent restructuring and recently announced cost-cutting measures aimed to save the publisher an additional 200 million euros by the end of March, which 2028, which could result in thousands of more developers losing their jobs. Not could, it will. It absolutely will. According to Ubisoft, this will be the third and final phase of its cost-cutting and will end by March 2028. So if this is the final phase, let's assume that they're telling the God's honest truth as far as they can project, and that they don't plan for any more layoffs. This would still leave them with around, 15,000 people, staff? That's still too many. That's like when you don't have any substantial like products being released. Okay, so this year, 2025, they had Star Wars Outlaws and Assassin's Creed Shadows. 2024, hang on. Was 2024 Skull and Bones, or was that last year as well? I think 2024 was 2024 was Skull and Bones. And then Assassin's Creed Shadows and Star Wars Outlaws were both last year. So that's three notable projects off the top of my head that Ubisoft had a hand in or heavily involved in, but I can't think of anything else Ubisoft beyond those. Not sure the article has the right numbers. Hourly equals a 30-minute poop. Exactly. Yes. Let's see here. Ubisoft's still going through its second phase, which started 4 years ago and was a 300 million euro cost-cutting measure. In that time, Ubisoft has decreased its headcount from 20,729 as of September 2022 to 17,097 as of September 2025, a reduction of 3,632 developers. Ubisoft London, Osaka, San Francisco, Leamington, Halifax, and Stockholm have all closed their doors. More layoffs of the company will also be announced on February 12th. This is just crazy. It's just nuts. Doesn't take a genius then to see that an additional 200 million euros in cost cutting will lead to yet more studio closures and layoffs. Ubisoft's third cost cutting measure will be 2/3 of the second round. So with that round seeing 3,632 jobs lost and using similar proportions, we can calculate that the next round could see approximately 2,400 jobs lost by the end of March 2028. Oh yeah, on top of that, here's the best part, guys. On top of that, Ubisoft is set to enforce a return to office mandate of 5 days a week. I get it, guys. I get it. I know people who are not crazy, like wokey, lazy-ass, blue-haired leftist, weirdo type people who also have like tech jobs and computer jobs and coding and stuff, and they like working from home because they can get more stuff done at home and they have the flexibility of working in their sweatpants and, you know, doing things at their own pace. And I get that there's perks to working from home. And for some people, working from home can be just as productive as working at the office. For some people, not most. I do not believe most people will be more productive at home than they will at work, at an actual physical location to go to work to. I'm sorry, I don't buy it. I don't believe it. I know people are lazy. And when people don't have the boss walking around, they're going to slack off. They just are. Why would they start being honest now? No, they won't. They just don't know what excuse to use yet. They kept the employees as if they were making the same burgers they made in the early 2010s. If these games are at the level of their prior games, I'd probably be more bugged by this. I'm not saying I know anyone at Ubisoft, but I talk to a lot of devs when they're working, and this has zero to do with their work. They were on strike last year because they didn't want to be back in the office. Yeah. On the other hand, it's cool I can do that, but I'd also be firing someone if I caught them doing that. Okay, so here's this is the beauty of the situation that I find myself in now after all these years of working with my family and our business, and now I am essentially my own boss, and it's like, okay, well, there are going to be longer days if I have stuff that has to get done. But at the same time, if there are days that I make shorter days, I'm the only person that's affected by it, and therefore I have to, you know, make my own decisions about like how many days I'm there, what my hours are, how much I get done in the meantime. Like the only person it impacts is me. And there is flexibility in that, but at the same time, it can really kick your ass if you don't put the nose to the grindstone and get enough stuff done, because you know that nobody else is coming up behind you to actually get your shit done. So, considering the pile of shit they produce, working from home clearly doesn't work. Beyond that, Avernum, my issue with it is how many of those people who are working from home aren't actually doing anything. So, of that 17,000 plus that, you know, are still there, how many of them are just simply filling a spot for a job that doesn't even need to exist in the first place, and they're doing it from home, and they're getting paid for it, right? It just, to me, it's crazy. Says, bigger change is needed. Ubisoft has been on a downward trend for a number of years, despite having a great future pipeline of games. Do they have a great future pipeline of games? Like, I love using Insider Gaming. Their articles are pretty decent as far as like the way that they write them. They're not very political. They're pretty just stick to the facts. Does Ubisoft really have a great future pipeline of games? Does anybody here looking forward to like whatever Ubisoft comes up with next? I'm not. Of course, I don't have any hardcore dedicated loyalty to any one studio. I couldn't care less about what studio makes what game. I don't pay that much attention to my favorite studio makes my favorite. No, if it's a good game, I play it, and then eventually it'll click and I'm like, oh, this studio made this game that I also like. That's pretty cool, right? What pipeline? Hex, the lesbian witch game? That's what I'm wondering. You know? I don't know. Maybe they do. Nothing's ringing a bell for me. The constant mismanagement, structural changes, and lack of ownership from higher-ups have led to one of the most horrible environments for developers to work in the games industry. How are developers meant to get excited about their work and be productive and creative when they know thousands more of their colleagues will likely be gone in the next couple of years? See, this to me seems like pro-developer cope, and I understand nobody wants to work and it's going to be hard to be productive if you feel like there's a cloud hanging over your head. But these are people who were supposed to have been people that get into game development because they love making games and they're good at it, they're talented, they know what they're doing, they want to make games that people want to play, they may want to make games that they would have wanted to play as a kid. If you can't do that, of course you're going to lose your job. It's in the same way that we'll talk about in a minute, this Knight's Path game and the responses from both sides going crazy or losing their shit over it. I don't care what someone's belief system is, what their ideology is, who they voted for, what their orientation is. If your product is good and you're good at your job and I don't have to have, like a message crammed down my throat, I'll buy the product happily. I don't care if somebody's the most giga-chad, right-wing, based, whatever, pro-gamer, anti-woke person. If they can't make a good game, I'm not going to give them my money because they're not entitled to my money just because we think the same things. If you're bad at your job, you need to find a new job, you know? Most guys I know in tech want to return to office to escape home. I mean, I would. Cage, I can't imagine, even in my house I have now, if I was doing, let's say that I decided to take next week, because I have stuff for website and online that I need to work on for work, right? Let's say next week I decided to take Tuesday off, not go to work, stay home, and work on all the stuff that I could possibly do from home. That would still remove me from the physical hands-on part of the job. I don't have everything that I could possibly need that I have as far as information and logins and stuff that I have at work that I have here. And then it'd be like, okay, well, now my kids are back over there doing homework or whatever, and I need to go deal with one of them because one of them's screaming, driving my wife crazy, whatever. It's like, it's just going to be distraction after distraction, you know? Legal and auditors might need to talk as much as everyone else, but designers, engineers, and so on kind of have to. Yeah, it kind of depends on how they have it set up right. Sure. Working from home makes it a communication issue. Well, that's why, okay, Susano, that's where a lot of these companies have run into issues because they'll use Slack and they'll use a lot of other things like Discord type apps to communicate. And then that's when the shit really hits the fan because their company Slack channels or their communication channels will suddenly get flooded with a whole bunch of personal stuff because all the employees are all talking like they're teenagers on these apps and stuff, messaging each other, and things just get like out of hand really fast. I don't remember what company it was. It might have been Microsoft with their Slack channel got into a lot of issue. Maybe it wasn't Microsoft. Trying to think who it was. But Tom Henderson then quote tweeted his post on Twitter today and said, following the announcement of Ubisoft's restructuring and third round of cost-cutting measures, Ubisoft's internal communication channels are full of employees shaming upper management and asking for a change. It's quite something seeing people very openly criticizing a company that's they work for to such an extent, but after years of struggle, it's not surprising. Might have been Blizzard. Oh, Rockstar. It was Rockstar. Thank you. Some employees tell me this was the final nail in the coffin for them and they'll be seeking employment elsewhere, and others have decided to fast-track their already existing contingency plans in case they were laid off. More have taken to LinkedIn to publicly announce that they are now looking for work despite still having a job at the company. This is going to get worse and worse for Ubisoft. This is insane. Ubisoft's going to experience a massive exodus of talent even without the impending layoffs. Well, I hope that the people who are actually talented at Ubisoft, and there are still people there who I'm sure who are talented, get different jobs. But if you guys just it's crazy thinking about this now. Here we are 2 years later from the time that I really started covering this stuff. You go back this time of year, February, March of 2024, and we were covering Sweet Baby Inc. and its connection to the video game industry and how many of these people that became activists or who were already activists, who started their own consulting firms and everything else, all had connections through Ubisoft. And here we are 2 years later seeing Ubisoft falling apart. Hey, truth. Part of the union thing, supposedly, there's a lawsuit over it, but I'm not, yeah, there was something about that. It's crazy seeing the chickens come home to roost. And I'm not saying Sweet Baby Inc. killed Ubisoft. No, not even close. I'm not even going to be like, yeah, Cabrutus was 2024. It was February, you know? I don't think I've even seen Fleekazoid. Talent matters more to me than the studio name. Kind of the problem. I don't know the talent was still there. It very well might not be, but obviously there's going to be a certain percentage of people who just go to work every day, guys, put their nose to the grindstone and do their job, and they have the skills to pay the bills. I have no doubt that there are some people like that at Ubisoft. The company wouldn't still exist if they wouldn't be able to make video games if they didn't have people who know what they're doing to an extent. Now, when you come to the storytelling aspect, that's a whole different story, right?
Presents are the best way to show someone how much you care. It is like this tangible thing that you can point to and say, hey man, I love you, this many dollars.
Oh, holy crap.
The
Dude.
Great Future Pipeline are just sequels to Pervious games. What
Pervious.
else can they do? Also, UBI stock started at 2.58 in 1996, 102 in 2018 to now 4.06.
Wait, it's down to 406? Is that in euros? Or is that US dollars? How did it get from in 8 years? In 8 years, it's lost 98, almost 98 euros, I think, in value. That is, dude, Smeg, thanks for the 5, buddy. Holy crap. They don't need Sweet Baby to ruin themselves when their entire company is relying on ESG funding. Yeah, euros. That is insane. So yeah, I mean, basically Ubisoft is cooked, guys. I know it's not hip for millennials to say things like cooked and, mogged and all that, but Ubisoft mogged themselves, bro. I've trained teams to more than that, but I've never led a team or a crew larger than 12. The funny thing is when I stopped covering Assassin's Creed Shadows and I stopped talking about Star Wars Outlaws because there wasn't anything else to talk about when it came to those topics, I stopped paying attention as much to Ubisoft because they really didn't have any games coming out that were really worth talking about, like nothing of note, right? And then I stopped checking the stock prices, and I don't think that you can purchase you can't get the Euro stock on Robinhood. I don't think that's the app I use, and so I didn't even check the price recently. That's nuts. It's kind of impossible to manage companies larger than 100 people. It's not hip to say hip. Old habits die hard. What can I say? And I'm officially getting old, guys. I'm starting, after all these years of physically abusing my body between working out and working in a freaking commercial bakery for 20 plus years since I was a teenager, working 24-hour shifts, never sleeping, all this shit I've done to my body. I'm starting to get like tendinitis right here. There's something messed up. And I'm like, well, this is great. Now I'm gonna have to wear like an elbow brace or some shit. Raising the most base gens, Gen Z, we're all that bad. Gen Z is based? No. Gen Alpha is gonna be based. Gen Z is messed up, man. Gen Z is raised, got like freaking clavicular and Nick Fuentes is funny, but like I would never trust him around my dog or my kids. Kind of a scale issue. Humans aren't really good at being around such large groups of people, let alone working well with them. Yeah. I never played Origins and Odyssey. So I loved... The first game was great. First couple games were great. I loved the Ezio trilogy. Black Flag was a cool deviation. Assassin's Creed 3 was a cool deviation. The Native American Revolution one. All those things were cool. Once they killed Desmond and Ezio's story came to an end, I was like, well, what the hell's the point? I played Unity, barely finished Unity. I got to the point where I'm like, I'm not going to 100% it. I don't care. The story's boring. The characters are boring. There's no Desmond. There's no Ezio. I'm done, right? Finished Unity, and that was it for me. I was like, whatever. I mean, Gen Alpha will be the same level of brainwashing as Gen Z. Yeah, but my kids are Gen Alpha, and I'm trying to raise them to be, fairly normal, all things considered. They need to cut at the very least 10,000 workers if they have nearly 18,000 at the moment. That's way too much bloat. For real. There's no reason for a company whose only job, and I get it, they publish games, they produce games, they're not just, you know, a one-trick pony. But there's no reason for a game or a company whose primary function is as a game studio and game publisher to have 18,000 people across multiple countries. It's insane. They kind of lost me with Valhalla, 500 hours in the game, and I never finished it. Why would you put 500? You know, never mind. I haven't finished Valheim yet, and I'm at 334 hours. Tears of the Kingdom, I put over 100 hours into, and only did one of the dungeon temple things or whatever. Brotherhood. Oh, dude. Brotherhood, yes. 3, Black Flag. I didn't play Rogue. But those 3 are fantastic. 3 was really fun. And I wasn't sure I'd like the whole Native American aspect or whatever. But it was a really cool game. I keep forgetting Far Cry games. Yeah, they have Far Cry. A lot of mobile microtransaction games. And they've got Rainbow Six. And the Rainbow Six still has a big player base. I've never played Far Cry. I take it back. I've played a Far Cry game. I don't know why, but I played it for a couple of hours. Thomas Mahler even said it himself. Ubisoft's just a brand, not the creator of its franchises. Most of the creators have already left. Well, that's like Bungie. I mean, Marathon allegedly is doing great in pre-sale numbers, but then it went from top 10 in the Steam store to the bottom or top 27 because the people that were gonna buy it bought it, and now it's no longer like trendy, right? So, like I said, I think Marathon will probably hit around 100,000 concurrent players on Steam when it first launches, which some will say is like a W, like, oh, this game's massive. But if the game doesn't sell more than a few million copies long term, it's dead in the water. They'll keep it alive for a few years, no question there. Odyssey's woke slot, played it recently, forgot how bad it is. Odyssey has the Perfect Dark, Joanna Dark actress that for the game that got shit canned. That I think she's Australian, complete feminist, loves everything gay, queer, trans. That you know, Alex Wilton Reagan, I think her name is. Gal's a big old fruitcake. She makes Erica Ishii seem normal. Or Highguard from the makers of Titanfall. Guys, I've been playing Titanfall 2. I don't know if any of you guys have seen my videos recently, but for the one on that chick that got Kingsman, the Marvel Rivals player, kicked from his team, I just used Titanfall 2 footage as my background footage for the game, for the video, and I'm like, God, this game's good. Like, I'm going to use that for the next time I cover Highguard. I'm like, I'm going to do a 20-minute video on Highguard, and it's going to be nothing but Titanfall 2 footage, because Titanfall 2 kicks ass, okay? Kicks ass. That game is so freaking good. Had no idea about the voice actress. Oh, Alex Wilton Reagan, she is a psycho. She has the crazy white liberal feminist eyes, okay? She's a nut job. She's pretty, but she's crazy. Yeah, Thomas Lockley is not being taken seriously anymore. Yep. Be like saying Origins was accurate when we're fighting gods in the game. Yeah, exactly. Do it. That's what I'm going to do, man. So let's go ahead and talk about Highguard, because it's worth talking about right now. We're going to have Highguard. Guys, we are going to have Highguard out in 3 days. January 23rd today. January 26th. Highguard is coming. That's what she said. God, I need to play another That's What She Said clip. I can tell you one game that Highguard will be better than.
Did I just do that?
Well, definitely with my assistance.
I did not just do that.
We did.
I just moved shit with my mind.
Perhaps our connection has somehow awoken some abilities.
I just moved shit with my mind.
I just keep hearing I.
I just moved shit with my freaking mind! Yeah, okay, that is something I do now. I do magic, talk to sentient cuffs, kill jacked up beasts. You know what? I'll probably fly next.
Now you're just being ridiculous.
Oh, that's too far. Good to know there's a line.
If you could just master these new abilities with my help.
Oh man, why is it playing the whole clip? It's supposed to play the edited clip. Oh man. If I say this is going on longer than it's supposed to. It's amazing how Veilguard and Highguard can be referred to as Failguard. She's married to a dude. That doesn't surprise me. He's probably like some male feminist. Yeah, for Woken. Black girl gamers. Dude, that one takes me back. That game, here's the thing. Like I've said before, I have a pretty good radar for games that are going to be pure dog shit, right? I've got a very good radar for games that are just going to be ass. And I've known before I played a game like, yeah, it's probably going to suck, right? And it usually does. If I have a bad feeling about it, I'm usually right. So there was, like, for example, Forspoken. I was watching, I'm trying to remember who it was. I think it was Eric July, the Rippaverse guy, was streaming it one time. And I just popped in and was watching it. And I'm like, what is the point of this game? Forspoken is one of those games made by, again, like the millennial feminist types, where everything in the game is, ooh, spin jump, twirl, spin jump. You know, everything's about the traversal. All I heard about Suicide Squad that people liked was, oh, the traversal in the game is really cool. Like, oh, the back and forth and the flipping. But the actual combat and the actual characters, the NPCs, the AI, everything was bad. But it's like, oh, but you got all these spinning moves and stuff. Like, that's supposed to, like, all the blurring, twirling on the screen is supposed to distract you from how bad the game actually is. Or a cuck. Jeff is torching his reputation with this game. What reputation? Come on. They made a diverse character and she constantly steals. Avernum, the beginning of the game, she is in trouble for stealing or something. Okay, like, this is how they introduce her. They introduce her in the game. Is she's like a thief. She's got to run in with the law or whatever. And it's a black girl. I'm like, oh my god, this is like the reloaded game. Oh, male feminists are the worst, dude. Okay, so I know we're not going to talk about Stranger Things. We're not mentioning Stranger Things. Stranger Things is over. The 5th season sucked. I get it. Most people tuned out after the 1st season. David Harbour is one of those guys that you look at. He's the guy that plays Hopper, you know, the sheriff in the first few seasons. And he is such a normal looking, he's like an 80s or 90s dad looking guy, right? Big, a little overweight, but you know that he could probably hold himself, you know, pretty well in the bar fight, you know, hold his own. And yet he is like the most freaking cucked man on the planet. It's so pitiful to see. It's unbelievable. Politics aside, I don't want to play brat character. Neither do I. Neither do I. And I understand people say, well, character arcs are important and stuff. Okay, fine. But why does she have to be insufferable from the get-go? Right? Victim of the system, yeah. She lived in a shithole filled with trash, but had a display case with overpriced shoes while her cat was starving. Oh, Alex was in AC Origins, not Odyssey. Cassandra Chick is Canadian Greek. Okay. Yeah, it's crazy. They're getting free marketing for Highguard, yet are ungrateful and are upset they're getting noticed. Highguard wouldn't even be on anyone's radar in the first place. You're not wrong there. So, all right. From yesterday, Epic Mike quote tweeted Jeff Keighley and said, does Highguard, do the devs even know, remember that their game is launching, right? Because Jeff Keighley, this man, ever since the controversy about the fact that allegedly the Game Awards put them in the final spot and they didn't have to pay for it. It was one of those, they had to fill somebody in, and so they put that Highguard game in as the finale spot, right? Just as a filler. And that put a target on their back because then it put too high of expectations. I've said this before, I'll say it again. I don't understand a company, this is free advertising, a company who made a product, who should feel confident about their product, should be happy about free advertising in the biggest spot in any possible slot to have their trailer. But the whole story that was being spun by like Paul Tassi was, oh no, these poor developers who made a shit game are mad because their trailer is getting attacked for looking like a shit game because the Game Awards put it in the finale spot. Okay, they didn't have to pay for it. It was free advertising. Tectone got knocked by the law? What? He get arrested? I'll have to look into that after the stream. Oh, Epic Mike has genuinely some pretty good takes. Nothing will be ever as hard as to play as Tell Me Why. I wanted to know why anyone would play that game after going through it. Yeah. Actually, I don't think I know that game. I'm confused about someone having a gun and a sword. It's that high fantasy tech magic blend. For games like Overwatch, I guess, use it or whatnot. That Valorant, I don't know. Give us glazing, but not that much glazing. Right. If their game was any good, they just had to show it and the narrative would have changed. Yeah. Yes, Cage. That is what we're getting to that. We're getting to that. Don't worry. So, Rock Solid said, how has Jeff Keighley done more free marketing for this game than the studio that made the effing game? Jeff Keighley, again, 12 hours ago, quote tweeted or posted this, January 26th at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, Highguard. Trigger Point says the dude's either out of touch or purposely sabotaging the game. Again, people are pretty much pissed at Jeff over this. I'm like, it's not Jeff's fault. I just find it funny. But now we have signs of life. After the studio, after the social media accounts have not posted a thing since they dropped the trailer, and since all the devs are like, I'm tired of being harassed online. Mind you, a lot of it wasn't harassment. It was just like, what were you guys thinking? What genre is the game? It is a 5v5 arena hero shooter. Theme of the game is so confusing, right? Magitech. Sure. Apparently he lost his case against... No. What? Yo, he was talking like he was going to win that thing, like it was a slam dunk, like it was... Oh my God, truth. I'm going to have to look into this later on. I don't want to bring that up on stream because that's just... Oof. That's crazy. Getting bored just hearing about it. Yeah, well, unfortunately, Mr. Hardcore Mode, you're going to have to hear about it for the next 3 days. Okay? Maybe 4. Give it 4 because the cycle, the Concord 2 comparisons will take a little while to die down. I'm going to warn you, I'm going to make a video on Highguard after it comes out because we all know the game is going to be dead on arrival. People might say it's great. People might play it and say, wow, this is actually really good. And I'm not going to say that there's not a chance that the combat, the gameplay might actually be satisfying for the right person. But the problem is going to be no one's going to be playing it. Okay? Just saying. So it will take about a week or so from the time that the game comes out for all the Concord comparisons to die down, for everyone to stop talking about it and move on, start picking up the next corpse. So it's going to take a little while. It is what it is. I don't mind that their fantasy setting has high-tech stuff. The problem is that they ushered in as the second coming of Titanfall and then it wasn't. Yes, exactly. Yeah, so Susano, the problem is that this game was dropped as the final trailer before the Game of the Year announcement at the Game Awards. The Game Awards charging $500,000 for every one of their trailer spots typically. And people were like being hyped up because Jeff Keighley is like the makers of Apex Legends and Titanfall, right? So people in their minds are thinking, oh my God, we're going to get a really gritty, hardcore sci-fi military shooter, something that's going to be really fun, but really, grounded and great combat, great movements. I mean, guys, I'm not kidding. I've been playing Titanfall 2 the last couple days, just multiplayer lobbies. Game is still fun. The game is still satisfying to play. Let's see. Is Highguard getting an exclusive controller? I remember that you showed Marathon had an exclusive controller. Well, Concord even had an exclusive controller. That's the crazy thing, is you could probably still find the Concord controller out there on eBay or something. I don't mind the mix. What I mind is how it's pulled off, and this doesn't look appealing, right? But it says, from Polygon, Highguard finally shows proof of life just days ahead of the launch. So again, we don't need to read the article. I really just pulled that up for the headline. Here you go. This is from Highguard's official account. Now, I do want to point something out. I'm going to refresh this real quick. I do want to point something out because this is worth noting, that when I did my video talking about this, I'm talking about Highguard, there was no social media presence. They weren't posting. There was all these rumors going around. Nobody was responding to anything. There were fake screenshots of the playtest that didn't actually exist. All this stuff. They didn't come out and address anything. Their follower account on Twitter is still really non-existent, right, guys? There's just nothing here. They have no traction on social media at all. Yet in the last 24 hours, they've gained like 400 or 500 followers on Twitter. So maybe if they were actually being more active and showing some of the gameplay and actually showing something that wasn't this god-awful looking trailer and giving people a reason to be excited about the game, maybe they'd actually figure out a way to garner some goodwill. But the fact that they went completely media silent the minute there was criticism and people had like a what the fuck moment about the game tells me that they just never had any interest in actually conversing with people, with, sharing ideas and listening to criticism, right? After Highguard, Marathon's next. Yeah, Equilibrium, I don't believe Marathon is going to suffer a Concord-like fate. Do I think in 3 or 4 years anybody will still be playing Marathon and that the servers might eventually get shut down? Yes, I do. Do I believe it'll ever make the money back that they've spent on it? Absolutely not. But do I think Marathon will go completely dead on arrival, belly up, shut down in a year. No, I don't see that happening. I just don't think it's going to be a possibility. I don't want them to fail, but if someone built my house for me and it was falling apart, I'm not exactly going to be okay with that. The branding makes it a bit more cool looking. The branding was never the problem. It's just confusing. Like, this image is fine.
Are the best way
you know?
to show someone how much you care.
Actually, I thought the female character they
like
showed
this
in a few of the
tangible
screenshots
thing that
looked
you can
decent
point to
also.
and say, hey man, I love you. This many dollars worth.
Highguard failure is coming before GTA 6. Rolling on the floor laughing.
Yep. Before we get GTA 6, absolutely. Thanks for the 2, Lucia. In fact, the game was advertised for free as BS for other games that had to pay for the spot. Truth, here's the thing. I disagree, and I'll frame it from like this perspective. Growing up in a family business where we did a lot of conventions, not like FatCon like what Kata and Trace went to, but those kind of similar things where vendors set up a booth, you set up your tables, you display your products. You go in as a new person, new vendor to any trade show, any convention, and you go to do the application. They're going to tell you your booth, your 10 by 10, whether it's a corner or an inline space, is going to cost you $1,000. It's going to cost you $2,000. Okay, well, the next year when you go to do your admission, you get a discount if you sign up early. Cool, so you can save $100 that way. Guess what happens at those shows when they don't fill spots? They'll tell somebody who's going to be there, hey, I've got an extra 10 feet next to you if you want it for $500, if you want it for half the price. In fact, we have worked events where we've gotten an extra 10 feet for free, okay? Unfortunately, the nature of how these things work, they can't have dead air. So yeah, it does suck for somebody else who paid full price, but they do have to fill those spots. So things happen. They have to work deals. They have to, they have to fill. I've never been to a furry con. Okay. I've never been to any fun conventions. I've been to like gift shows and, those kind of events. Nothing fun. Yeah, I saw Tainted Grail hit 1 million sales. That's awesome. Now, yes, it does suck. It does suck for somebody else who paid $500,000. I won't disagree with you there. But these are just things that they have to do to fill the spaces. So FurryCon. Make a multiplayer game, but don't have anyone on staff actively looking for people to get players into the game, right? Okay, guys, the thing is, the person, I've said this before, I'll say it again. The person, I believe, we talked about this on stream, that I thought was a woman that some people said was actually a man in drag, man in cosplay as a woman. Alex Frostwolf, or whatever she calls herself. That's the social media manager for Highguard, for several other games, several big companies, that use this person as their social media manager. And unfortunately, this person doesn't like gamers. This person doesn't like men telling girls what to do. I've shared the screenshots. I've taken, bookmarked all sorts of stuff. Very hostile towards men and towards gamers, okay? Kind of like what we saw with Kingsman getting shit on from his team from Marvel Rivals because a couple girls were sensitive about him telling them, hey, we need to switch up our strategy or we're going to lose. Same kind of personality type. And this is the person running the community manager for Highguard, okay? So a lot of these games will be released before GTA 6, not even a joke anymore. No, it's just the dead on, that's just the truth, yeah. Secret level show for Concord. Some people enjoyed that, yeah. Don't know the game played as bad as everyone said. No, actually, the thing is, Susano, I heard the game played fairly well. I heard that the game actually was satisfying to play for some people. They said the gunplay felt good. Some of the characters' abilities were decent. It just didn't have an organic user base because nobody wanted to look at the characters. I mean, it's that straight up. It's pretty simple. Oh, he made out so well. Kingsman did fantastic with that. Like, what else could you ask for? Separate men and women from competitive. Well, okay, so the problem was the entire Marvel Rivals thing wasn't supposed to be competitive. It was a competition, but it was more of like an exhibition thing. But the guy really needed the money, and his teammates were screw-offs. So, I don't know, Cage. I don't know. You guys would have to tell me. We talked about this on stream before, and I don't want to go looking her up right now. But it's the community manager for Highguard, and I'm pretty sure it's possibly a troon. I don't know. All right, let's refresh. This is what we're talking about. Highguard, in 2 days, has their launch showcase coming up. Again, their YouTube channel, still barely more than 2,000 subscribers on YouTube. Currently, a lot of chatter in the chat here for Highguard. Mostly people saying this game looks sick. With all the bad press, it'd almost be impossible for it to be the big hero shooter, but I can easily see it gaining a good player base. Let me see here. This game will be awesome. F the haters. Hope the game is good or at least decent. We're so back. I can't wait to see this crash and burn. There you go. We regret to inform our fans that we're shutting down the studio. Thank God Concord 2 won't be released. Cancel, cancel. Nobody wants this dog shit. So when I dropped into the chat earlier, it looked like 90% people glazing it, but now it's a lot of people who are actually crapping on it. It'll be interesting to see. Hey, Tekla. Let me see here. Oh, yeah, it was a Marvel Rivals. It was a private, an individual creator who did a tournament, but it was like a $48,000 total prize pool, and the winning team they were each going to get like $3,000. So they're all bots from India. To me, it sounds like bots. That is often the way bots talk, for real. Yeah. Yeah, not competitive, $40,000 prize. You can't have both. I mean, Avernum, if I went into a situation as a gamer trying to win money, and I knew that I needed that money, you can bet your ass off I'd be trying to win as hard as I possibly could. So, somebody here earlier, Ligmadeek, that's a great name, said 164 viewers and no one is talking. Hello, Smash JT. Smash is in here? No, he's not. I don't think he's in here. Maybe Smash is looking at this on stream. That's probably what that is. No, there's no new promotional stuff. So here's what we got. Tekla, in case you missed it, they put out this post here. Tune in on Monday, January 26th at 10 a.m. Pacific time for the Highguard launch showcase. Bam, that's it. Here we'll share an in-depth look at Highguard direct from the studio, featuring a full gameplay deep dive, year one plans, and much more. I put this on here because I'm just an asshole. This is just me. Said year one plan. What is it? Don't die. I'm sorry. Like I said, I know I'm an asshole, and I own it. I can accept it. Then they also posted this a little bit later. In 3 days, your fight for control begins. Play Highguard free on January 26th. So you got dude on a horse, demon chick on a bear, or maybe this is a demon dude and a chick here. I don't know. One's on a horse, one's on a bear. We have these weird looking walls with like these almost look like a shield barrier. I don't know what this is. Like, the problem is the game is so many different components, like different looks, different aesthetics all blended together that there's not like a cohesive thought process behind any of this. Sounds like they're all in, boys. Yeah. Highguard 1000 IQ marketing play. They're using the Streisand effect to build hype around it. What hype though? Like I said, so they're at 9,200 followers on Twitter. They've got 2,000 subscribers on YouTube. The most hype, the most talk about this game is just people shitting on it. Jake Lucky saying the Highguard marketing strategy will go down in gaming history for better or for worse. Spend big money to announce the Game Awards. Again, not true if they got a free slot. Go radio silent for a month and a half. Post 3 days before release announcing the launch event. Expensive creator/streamer launch event hours before a game goes live. The public still knows nothing about your game. Gonna be wild to see how it plays out, right? It's on Steam already. Yeah, you can. I think you can. You can't preload it, I don't think. Premise of the factions. It's Black Cat. There are no factions, I don't think. I don't know. It's not like Marathon where every character you choose from like the 5 or 6 character classes that they have. This is hero shooter. So this is, I'm sure you can play whatever hero you want to on whichever team. It's more like Apex Legends, I think. You know, all the characters I'm sure will have their backstories like anybody gives a shit. Nick Tech says Highguard has to have one of the strangest marketing campaigns for a game I've ever seen. It ended the Game Awards with its reveal trailer. Absolutely zero marketing since then. Launches in 3 days. Again, same kind of idea. No reviews, no trailers, no social media posts acknowledging its existence. Simply nothing. It's almost like their entire marketing budget went into including their trailer in the Game Awards show and called it a day. Last social media post they also made was right after the Game Awards. And again, marketing budget didn't get factored in if they didn't pay for that slot. It's not listed as a free-to-play game, but who knows? It is supposed to be. It is supposed to be free to play. Yeah, exactly, Equilibrium. So they allegedly didn't pay for that spot. It's like you're holding a camera, watching your friend walk straight into a lamppost talking to you, that kind of hype. That boy Aqua, that's a streamer that I've seen have really shitty takes recently, or YouTuber. I don't give an F about people hating on this game. It's free. I'm going to at least give it a shot. And I think that's fine. That's fine. The person here says not a valid reason to try Concord 2. Oh my God. Game could be fun. It could be fun. It could be free. I mean, so the problem is, here's one of those things, you know, a lot of people criticize Arc Raiders when they went from free to play to $40. I think going to $40, and I know people are going to say Concord went to $40 and then it fell apart and people said it should have been free to play. I don't think people are averse to spending $40 on a game. And I know money is money, and yes, inflation, and yes, we get less for our money when you buy a game these days. So saying, well, at least it's not $70 doesn't mean anything when games are already ripping you off because you don't own it, and it's okay. But I still look at it as like that $40 entry price or below. Think about like Expedition 33 came out, $40. Now it's $50, but it's always on sale, so you can always still pick it up for like $40 or less. Hollow Knight. A lot of these games that release at $40 or less do exceptionally well if they do a good enough job advertising their product. People are not afraid to spend a few bucks on something that they really want to play. The problem with free-to-play is we've seen how many times it turns into either pay-to-win, in the case of, I guess, like mobile games or whatever, or in the case of big, like AAA publishers, these free-to-play games are always looking to nickel and dime you to death in the microtransactions. And sure, people are willing to do that. People are willing to spend their money on it. People, you know, half of the revenue for the industry is microtransactions. But a large percentage of gamers don't want to play games that they feel like they're just trying to nickel and dime you to death. And so I think if you offer something at a reasonable price and you offer something people are interested in, they're not going to say, well, I don't want to play this because it's not free to play. I don't want to spend $40 on it. No, people will be willing to spend their money if they have faith that they're getting something for their money. When you go radio silent for this long after the trailer got destroyed, and now you come back and, okay, it's free to play, so you can check it out. Yeah, but you kind of go into assuming you already know what it's about, and you could be wrong. We all assume, and we're all wrong at some point. Highguard could be the most satisfying, hero arena shooter that's ever existed, but at this point, we've all seen enough free-to-play games. We've all seen the same pattern of behavior over and over again that at this point, it's like, what can you blame people for not wanting to give it the benefit of the doubt? Like, be honest. He'll break down games really well and the same issues as the Chuds, but never actually address the issues. That's because he's a soy boy, okay? $40 doesn't pay for live service. Why even charge? It's about shanking the player base with the cash shop. Yeah. Yep. Secure boot and TPM, that's a hard pass for me. Dude, I had to enable TPM for freaking Battlefield. And I don't even play Battlefield. I did it for the beta. And that was the one game that it required it for. And I'm like, I didn't even download RedSec. I don't care, you know? Oh, it was a nightmare getting that shit to work. Yeah, Avernum, 100%. You know, that's just... Look, Arc Raiders proves that it doesn't have to be free to play, okay? If Marathon, which is releasing for $40, goes out there and crushes it, if there's enough people who, despite all the controversies, somehow find the art style appealing and the gameplay looks good to them, and they have a strong enough desire to go play Marathon, if Marathon goes out there and crushes it and we're all wrong about the game not being as successful as they want it to be and it's $40, you can't argue with the pricing model. You can't say, oh, you know, it would have been better if it was free to play. Look at games like this, okay? Look at Hell. I'm trying to think with the last free to play. First Descendant, free to play. Their game has no players. None. Like it's dead. That's right, I have to have TPM2 disabled. Yeah. As long as the characters are not fugly as hell, they'd win, right? Why would they have that in easy anti-cheat at all? Dude, I saw the thing about Monster Hunter Wilds and DRM affecting gameplay and the DLC shit. Now, like, I didn't even cover that stuff, but that was insane. Co-Carnage says, oh my god, this is actually happening. They did it all on purpose. It's going to be crazy interesting to see. No, they didn't do it on purpose. They did not do this on purpose. This was purely them reacting, like knee-jerk reaction to the criticism. Yeah, not Titanfall 3. My God, we deserve Titanfall 3. After all the years of shit, we deserve Titanfall 3. Give us something really satisfying. From PC Gamer, of course, it's hard to fault Highguard for giving the internet the silent treatment, wouldn't you? No, I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't. I absolutely would not. You know what? I'm going to jump ahead here for a second, and then we're going to come back. Because we're going to talk about Knight's Path and Voto. But look at what Knight's Path has been doing for the past, what is it? Day and a half, past 2 days. Every time they have a question, they give a reply. Every time someone shits on their game, they give a reply. Every time somebody praises their game, they give a reply. Every time somebody just suggests something or asks why they didn't do something differently, they give a reply. Now, this game could be dog shit, okay? But the developer, whoever's running the social media accounts, knows what they're doing, all right? This is still 1 or 2 days worth of replies here. And a lot of these replies have been negative, have been nasty. And these developers are still responding because they know that this will give them traction. Now, like I said, the game could come out and it could be dog shit. I fully reserve the right to, withhold judgment on this until I actually play a demo of the game for myself. But the reality is, in the current age, the current day in market, if you have no social media presence at all, other than, oh, people say negative things about your game and that's the only thing that trends, you're killing your game. It's dead on arrival. Yeah, they're going to do the Streisand effect, 100%. At this point, I really just want to buy the game out of spite. I'm not buying it out of spite. No, actually, Wise Ass Duck, I was looking through the replies earlier, and they seem like they're actual genuine replies, like actually not being bot farmed. Wild's thing was heavily misreported, so probably better didn't cover it. Didn't at all impact the actual hunts, just hub areas. Oh, interesting. Dude, people have been trying to get arc raiders to put in like a hub. I despise that idea. We don't need a hub to walk around in arc raiders. The game runs perfectly fine the way it is. Lost a prominent figure in the industry when Vince died. True. Unfortunately, the man decided to flatten himself against the side of a cliff at 120 miles per hour. I will never understand that. I was reading something about it. Apparently, it was so poorly planned that the reason he crashed was his eyes couldn't actually adjust fast enough to coming out of the dark tunnel into the bright sunshine. So when he hit the cliff, he probably couldn't even see anything. Like, he probably didn't even see what he hit. Just insane. They're not being toxic. They're just answering honestly and sincerely. Whoever is their media guy is doing good work. Yeah. And again, H. Brown, he could be good at social media marketing and terrible at game development. Like I said, the game could be garbage. But at this point, we don't know until we play it, right? Didn't impact high systems. Well, most things, I say most, but most things don't heavily impact high-end systems. Yeah, he did a Paul Walker crash. Dude, it sucks. And it wasn't just himself. He killed somebody else, too. That's the unfortunate thing is, neither one of them deserved to die, but it's like Vince was the one driving the car. I don't know who the other person was who died in the crash either. But the PC Gamer article says, after the free-to-play Shooters Game Awards reveals roundly mocked, the creators opted not to engage. Can't blame them. Oh, boy. Oh, this is exactly what you'd expect from PC Gamer. Few actually expected last year's Game Awards to close with anything as earth-shattering as Half-Life 3. I don't care about Half-Life. But if that kind of huge announcement were going to happen during the show, that's when it would. Instead, Jeff Keighley queued up a trailer for an unknown hero shooter called Highguard. It didn't go great. Social media reaction was instantly hostile. Highguard was received as a one more thing trespasser that had claimed an unearned seat of honor, although its developer did not pay for the slot, as many assumed. Reveal has become a case study in how to not announce a game, but what really got people worked up was Highguard's developers did next was nothing. It's launching on Steam next week, but the studio still hasn't said anything about it publicly, aside from a tweet today announcing a live stream. Start for a new trailer to dunk on in the endless competition to win social media Cynicism Cup. Posters have had to settle for generic declarations of Highguard's cookedness. Cynicism for cynicism's sake aside, it feels safe to say that general distrust of the game is at an all-time high. In Highguard's case, you do get a whiff of hubris from the decision not to run any public betas. We've seen Bungie, a studio with quite a bit of experience releasing multiplayer shooters, take feedback from a Marathon playtest. And again, credit where credit is due. Marathon did actually do a certain amount of cleaning up the game after the playtest, although it still looks generic and boring. Cautiously start to turn public perception around on it, but Highguard's just going to drop. You've got to raise an eyebrow at that. Well, why does that suck? I never played Half-Life 1 or 2. So how can I care about Half-Life 3 when I didn't play the first ones? No, you're so Susano, there wasn't the reaction to this because people didn't know anything about it. Apex Legends shadow dropped with no announcement at all. They didn't do this like Game Awards finale spot, the prime slot right before, you know, Game of the Year, all that kind of stuff. Then play the first ones. When am I gonna? If I play the first ones, I can't talk to you guys right now because I'd have to be playing the first ones, and then I'd have to stop playing all the other games that I play. You guys got to understand. I'm on a very, very limited time schedule here. I think it was Patriot last stream asked me, what would you do if work wasn't necessary? Like, would you still play video games? Yeah, I'd probably play 4 hours, 5 hours stream, you know, either streaming or just playing video games a day, and I'd catch up on everything that I hadn't played. But that's not reality for me, you know. Go play the first ones. I'll try. I'll try to get around to it. Yeah, this is not a shadow drop. It's a drop. Exactly. I think Overwatch's first one was the only one I actually spent time in. I've never played Overwatch. I've tried Valorant briefly. I've tried those kind of games. Yeah, you know, not my thing. Whatever. Then shut the F up and play. Oh, man. Why is the living room light on? Oh, she's crocheting. Okay. And they forced me to watch Overwatch 2, and I never touched it again. Can you play Red Dead 2? Oh, my God. Yeah, get me on another game that's going to sink 200 hours of time that I don't have to play, right? Oh, my God. Okay, so I'm not going to beat around the bush too much on this one. It is cracking me up that he's got, you know, Endymion, a screenshot of his thumbnail, Actman, Veridark. So, again, this whole entire article serves the purpose of, oh, you guys shouldn't be criticizing this game because reasons, right? It's just pathetic. Games are just time sinks, main issues I have. You know, but if we're talking about games like Highguard, I do like enjoying, I enjoy games like first-person shooter, competitive multiplayer games that you don't progress a story in, because sometimes it's fun just to jump in and out of a match, right? Insurgency, Titanfall, Apex even with my kids when I don't feel like beating my head into a wall. That game sucks. You know, I don't mind, or Starship Troopers or any other game that I play. They're fun to just jump in and play a match 15, 20 minutes and then be done or whatever. But yeah, I do tend to prefer games that have story, obviously. First Half-Life, maybe 20 to 30 hours max, another 30 to 40 hours. So that would take me probably a month to get through the first two. I'm trying to think. I think I put like 50 hours on Arc Raiders in the first month I had it. So I could probably do that. Maybe I'll do that as like a little challenge for myself. I don't know. I still haven't finished the Elden Ring DLC. I got like most of the way through that a year ago when I got it, and I still haven't finished it yet. Started learning to code thanks to the Half-Life SDK in 2001. Damn, that's pretty cool. Half-Life is iconic because we as fans played it when it was unique. You have to grow up with it to appreciate it. Yeah, and that's the hard part. Is like I grew up playing Halo. I grew up playing classic NES games. I grew up playing like the things that I grew up with. And when you go back and play a game, even a treasured, you know, classic game that you didn't play, it's hard to look past in certain situations how dated the games look. 1,000 hours in Wilds and I'm acting like I don't play time sinks. I mean, yeah, exactly. That's a lot of hours for one game. All right, so this guy here, Noir, says, I think these games will be among the biggest failures of 2026. There's a strong chance they will straight up flop or at least underperform and not meet expectations. All right, so Marathon. Like I said, I'm 50-50 on this one. Of course, the game we're going to talk about in a second, 1348, Ex Voto. Dead or Alive? Or no, Dead or Alive. Dead or Alive. There you go. Where's my brain at? Holy crap. 007 First Light. This game to me looks like generic boring. I couldn't give two shits about. And Highguard, obviously, which is... I mean, guys, Even if you want to give the game a chance, even if you want to play it, I don't see this being a thing where it's like, oh, people played it and all of a sudden it's the most viral sensation on the planet, best game ever. This is going to be like the biggest redemption story of all time. If that happens, I'll eat all my words. I'll eat as much crow as I could possibly eat. It's just not going to happen. First Light should be great if you like Hitman. I played 1 or 2 Hitman games. It was decent. I tend to not love sneaking around in games. Not going to lie. Even on the Reddit, sentiment's bad for like Destiny 2 stuff and all that. Yeah. No, Bungie's in a bad spot. Yeah, Dead or Alive. I don't know where my brain is. I'm sorry. It's not because people hate the game it's bad. It's simply because people are sick and tired of the formula. Right. 1340 is funny because apparently it's a vet team and they choose to do the same BS they would in a studio. Yeah. 3,000 hours of Souls invasions for no purpose and no, that's not no purpose. If you spend 3,000 hours invading people on Souls games, you have a purpose. Your purpose is to torment and torture people for fun. You might be the closest thing to a reptilian that exists on this planet, Tekla. And I don't say that to like judge you. My hat's off to you in that. Because invading people on Souls games is a lot of fun. That is fantastic. 5,000 hours in just the first Dark Souls. My God, you guys are demonic. You guys are sick. It's about finding creative ways. Yeah, that I know why that's stuck. And sneaking's part of it. Disguising yourself's part of it. It was whatever Hitman was available on the GameCube is the one that I had. It might have been Hitman 2. I can't remember. 2,000 plus hours in 76. The most hours I ever put into a single game was Guild Wars. I remember Guild Wars, I had 2,000 hours in 1 year alone, and I played that game pretty solidly for a few years. Not the formula that's the issue, but instead that every hero shooter turned to shit over time. I mean, hey, Vernum, you're preaching to the choir here because my biggest problem with Apex Legends is they took a very fun Battle Royale formula with good feeling weapons, great movements, good environments, decent characters and skills and abilities, and the game no longer resembles anything like how it launched. They have ruined that game for me. And I know I'm not the only one, but of course they still have enough players. I think LD was showing on his stream earlier that Apex still has about 60,000, maybe 100,000 concurrent on Steam. So they're still doing fine, whatever. Everyone who hates the hero shooter hated it from the beginning. You can technically go around mowing down everything. It's like a postal game practically. Let's see. We are worse people. WoW Classic rogue players grifting low levels. Yeah. Or griefing low levels. Yeah. 400 hours in Power World. Damn, man. Power World's fun. I just couldn't really spend that much time in it because I'm like, I didn't love it more than Valheim. I didn't love it more than Ark. And it reminded me of both games. I'm like, if I'm going to spend time playing a survival crafting game, it's not going to be Power World. I'm going to go back to Ark, finish the story, do more exploring, more building. But no, Power World's good. It's definitely a great game. If you like the Pokemon aesthetic and you're looking for more of a crafting survival game, Power World, I got no complaints. It's legit. It's fun. So speaking of 1348 X Voto, this is from Tech Radar from their Game-Changing Stories section. Oh boy. 1348, an action game featuring a female knight on a quest to save Jennifer English. Oh. Jennifer English is the blonde chick, not this interesting looking monk creature here. Okay. In medieval Italy, sounds like just the game for me, and it's launching in March. Guys, I'm retarded tonight.
Wait, back up. Do you think that I'm retarded?
I'm saying I'm retarded. Oh my God. But the Xbox version has been canceled. All right, Cage, I'm sorry, buddy. You don't get to play this game. I know you were looking forward to it, probably in your downtime when you get snowed in. I'm sure you guys will still have March snow, I'm sure. Over here, it's just going to be raining in March. Officially launches on March 12th for PC and PS5. Xbox version was canceled, so said Leo, the studio, could focus on delivering the best experience. Story follows young knight-errant Aita on a quest to save her companion, Bianca, in 14th century Italy. Just say furry fuzzy bumper scissor sister, whatever. R6 got killed not long ago by hackers, but yeah, before they turned into a weird diversity shit show. That's how those games all go. No, it's not a Joan of Arc game, Susano. Not at all. So here's the thing. We're going to get into some of this stuff. I covered all this in my video that I released last night. Weirdos and freaks online are trying to compare this character and this storyline to Joan of Arc. Now, full disclosure, I am not a Joan of Arc historian fanboy. I know the basics of the story, of the history around Joan of Arc. And again, enough to know that she wasn't gay, she wasn't trans, she wasn't a lesbian. In fact, Joan of Arc was a virgin when she died. She wore men's armor because she said God instructed her to, basically, that she was supposed to take on the role of a man and lead the French to defeat the English. And that she herself was very anti promiscuity. She kicked out the whores out of the encampments, wouldn't let her men, philander around. So probably wouldn't have been a big fan of a lesbian lover running around Europe in Italy in 1348. I'm just going to speculate. Joan of Arc was very devout. And lesbianism, homosexuality, not big at the time, not looked on fondly by the Catholic Church. Joan of Arc game would be cool. I don't know, Cage. Honestly, Joan of Arc didn't really accomplish that much. Don't ever feel bad about your current hairstyle after seeing that one. I'm just going to go like this the rest of the stream then, guys. Holy shit. She's doing it for personal reasons, save the girl, while Joan of Arc was doing it for her country. And Joan of Arc might have been tripping acid. She might have been tripping balls, guys. Joan of Arc might have been the kookiest crackpot to ever exist, okay? But she was inspiring the soldiers to actually battle. Now, did Joan of Arc need to be the only one doing that? Of course not. There's other, historical leaders that have led their armies very well. She had some mild success, though. They were very brutal to anyone that didn't fit at the time, not as brutal as the Elizabeth times. Yeah, but the point being, in the middle of 1348, in Catholic-controlled Italy, nobody would look fondly about a woman running around in men's armor, because, again, they didn't make armor for women. Armor was for men. That's part of the reason that they were able to put Joan of Arc to death, was because she refused to stop cross-dressing. They viewed that as like a perversion, even though she wasn't doing it for a perverted reason. And because they hated her and they wanted to find a way to get rid of her, that was one of the reasons they used. Do they honestly care that she was wearing men's clothing? I have no idea. But that was just one of the reasons they used. Okay. Weird Nun game Indica's coming to Game Pass. I don't know much about it. Yeah, Joan was astroturfed by feminists. Yeah. Just go look up her history on how she treated like prostitutes and stuff. Joan was not a feminist. Okay, she was not some pro-love, pro-abortion, whatever. She died a virgin, okay? Like, give me a break. They always forget about the god. Shocker, I know. Yeah, exactly. The horse. Well, no, Bianca's not the horse. There's a woman. Or unless you're talking about the main chick here. Story follows Ada, played by Albie Baldwin. Oh my god, hang on a second. I'm curious. Because we all know how voice acting goes. We all know how they cast for voice acting these days, right? Oh, yeah. I need to do a razor fist, fuck you, I was right thing and spin around in my chair. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, my. Oh, my. Oh, my. You thought the haircut was bad? If you guys thought the haircut was bad, oh my. I can't. I can't unsee this. This here be Albie Baldwin, the non-binary voice actress. The whores, not horses. Tell me they made her look better in the game. It looks like a short mullet, yeah. I am so fucking tired of hearing that voice actors have no impact on the characters that they play. I will never entertain an argument or a discussion with anybody who makes that claim ever again. Ever. It's Baldwin's brother. Yeah. I can fix her. Oh my God. Just saying that might be construed as sexual harassment with these people, Susanna. You can't say that. Nice hair. You want me to let your hair grow? The problem is it doesn't really grow much in the front, so I keep it short. I did just recently cut off the beard, though. I don't know if you've been here since the last time, a month ago when I decided to go short again on the beard, but the freaking goat herder beard was getting to be too much. I'd rather have the horse than this thing on screen. You know what? I would go full Cenk Uygur with you on that one. Anyways, played by Abby Baldwin on a quest to save her closet. Closest companion. Oh my God. Her closet companion. That's what it should have said. Bianca, played by Jennifer English. So, non-binary lead in the game and lesbian love interest. Closet lesbian, yes. Oh my God. All right. Created by a team of seasoned indie developers, the game will see Eta, a young knight errant, encounter a series of trials on her path to knighthood and ultimate goal of saving Bianca. You know what the biggest trial... Yeah, we need the full-size camera for this one. Guys, the biggest trial she'd face in 1348 in Italy, in joining, in becoming a knight would be her biggest hurdle to leap over to gain knighthood would be the fact that she has a freaking vagina, okay? That would be the biggest hurdle to leap over. It's kind of hard to get past that part. Yeah, I'm glad this is skipping Xbox 2, although I might pay for this game. Here's what I'll do. At some point on YouTube, I'll drop my Steam account. I have like 7 friends, and I'm not asking for friends because I play by myself most of the time. But people from time to time like to send people games to play. I know Wise Ass Duck has mentioned that before, but he wants to send me like hentai games, and I'm not playing those. I might put this out there and say, guys, if somebody sends me a copy of this game, we'll stream it and see how bad it is. So a they, them knight and a lesbian love interest in 1348 Italy. I bet they shit on the Pope and Christianity. Probably. Might be Baldwin's son. Explains why old man is such a TDS shitlib. Vatican would not approve. Plays by himself. I said by, not with. Come on, man. Let him have their woke game. They can make fun of him. Yeah. Joan of Arc would have lost her virgin. No, Joan of Arc died a virgin, man. I wish listed it, so probably will get it. But they may need to make a note to get it on sale. Yeah, it certainly would not be worth buying. Not full price. Oh my God, guys. You guys are already predicting it. Along the way, she will face fanatical zealots. Those are going to be Christian knights. We should place bets now, okay? Roaming bandits and battle-hardened mercenaries, all against the backdrop of a virulent plague that threatens to tear apart an already fragile society. The game description. Oh, so it's Plague Tale with a non-binary knight, right? Wow. 2 of the core aspects of 1348 Ex Voto are combat and exploration. Sedleo said has worked with industry experts to craft a combat system inspired by historical European martial arts, set against a recreation of the rural beauty of 14th century Italy. The trailer showcases green hills and mountain trails and happy trails, suggesting a linear open world, environmental puzzle solving, and third-person sword combat. 1348's art style, story, and exploration evoke the same style as A Plague Innocence, and even Hellblade's Senua's Sacrifice, and I'm curious how the game's personal themes play. Okay. I want to restate something because this cannot be overstated. I know Hellblade was not everyone's cup of tea. I'm talking about the first game. I'm not even going to mention the second game. The second game was feminist dog shit, and it ran like garbage. The first game told the story of a woman who was being possessed by psychotic thoughts or demons haunting her as she descended into hell and madness trying to save her lost love, who was a man. Please do not compare this piece of dog shit in front of us to Hellblade. I really liked Hellblade. I thought it was really good. I loved the environment. I loved the story. I thought the acting was top notch. Again, all the spooky voices you're hearing in your headset as you're playing the game made a very cool aspect, like to the gameplay and stuff. So I thought the game was great. Comparing it to this, oh my god. This is why games like Phantom Blade are worth playing even more. 100% agreed. Think she's gonna be a Muslim knight? Oh, that'd be even bigger issue, Lugia. Muslims don't like them lesbians either. MAGA Knights, famous medieval covenant. Didn't the trailer have one arm wield her sword? I think so. Yeah, a Plague Innocence. Supposed to be a Plague Tale instance. This is not a serious outlet, Avernum. Okay. Hellblade has a lot of ASMR voicing. I really enjoyed it, and I'm not big into ASMR. I just thought it played really well into the environment of the game. Everything in our story is personal. It's about moralities, ambitions, and choices, said game director Tom Oceano and executive producer Fabiola Martelli in a press release. Who we aspire to be and who we are allowed to become, whether our means to fight for it or against it justify our end. We hope those themes will resonate. So it's going to be girl boss slop, where she's fighting against the patriarchy and the oppressive church and society that won't let her chase her dream to be a muff-munching knight. Apparently, that's where we're at. That's what we're looking at here. So cool, awesome. Muslim knight would be something. Yeah. The funny thing is, people are actually criticizing this game, the studio, not because of the fact that it's gay or woke or whatever. This guy here, I stumbled upon this tweet. This is really funny. This is obviously somebody who hated Expedition 33. Says, next industry plant game coming right up. The credits will be 20 minutes long. NPR will cover it as a period piece with made-up lesbian knights. So I guess that's actually criticizing the game. And every gaming news outlet will say it was made by 15 people. So again, they're of the opinion that this is the thing like what Expedition 33 did with Sandfall Interactive, saying they were a team of 30 people. Small team of 33 developers, not a peep about the number of contractors, Gasmet lighting in that expedition. Again, I think that's a nitpick, whatever. Girlboss slop, people flop. Yeah, that's... The game will do... The game will sell tens of copies, let's be honest. If they made a historically accurate Muslim game in some regions, that wouldn't go over well at all. No, it would not. Really would not. Even the director says the story is personal, so people comparing it to Joan of Arc are idiots. Yes. Same with the hats, but I'm not touching that. People are really butthurt over Expedition 33. It's really funny. So in case you ever were questioning, people were like going, "Oh, you guys are taking this too seriously." So for anybody who hasn't seen the trailer yet, here is the trailer. We'll play the trailer for Voto, okay? And then we'll look at the tweet. All right, so let me switch real quick to bigger screen. Webcam's missing. Hang on a second, let me get it. There we are. And I'll hide the chat for right now for you guys just so we can kind of just see the video. If you haven't seen the video yet, we'll watch this real quick. Get the volume set
Presents
properly.
Are the best way to show someone how much you care. It is like this tangible thing that you can point to and say, hey man, I love you, this many dollars worth.
MDQ, how come we don't get Muslim games?
Lucia, we did. We did get a Muslim game. In fact, there was a very famous Muslim game by Ubisoft that came out a long time ago. What, damn near 20 years now, right? The first Assassin's Creed game. In fact, the first couple Assassin's Creed games with Altair. He was a Muslim. Now, again, the games obviously weren't rooted in Muslim, theology and whatnot, but Altair, they were Muslim. They were the Arabs that were fighting the Templars. So, oh, dude, I'm sure that there are Crusade games that exist. That would be freaking awesome. I'm of the mind the Templars did nothing wrong. So it kind of does suck in the Assassin's Creed series they made the Templar Knights the bad guys, because the Templars did nothing wrong. Would be crazy if people found out this game uses AI. Dude, Vernon, that's one of the things that they've been trying to hold over Knight's Path